enhance the quality of life for residents, making their city their home. And city government is administered for and by its citizens and is dependent upon public commitment to and understanding of its many responsibilities. And whereas city government officials and employees share the responsibility to pass along the understanding of public service and their benefits, and the Florida City Week offers an important opportunity for elected officials and city staff to spread the word to all citizens of Florida that they can shape and influence this branch of government. And the Florida League of Cities and its member cities have joined together to teach citizens about municipal government through a variety of activities to actively promote and sponsor Florida City Week. Now therefore I, Jeff Gow, by the virtue of the authority vested in me by the Mayor of the City of Dunedin, and on behalf of this entire City Commission, do hereby recognize October 20 through 26, 2025 as Florida City Week, and encourage all citizens, city government officials, and employees to participate in events that recognize and celebrate the week while promoting Dunedin through civic education and volunteerism. So thank you very much.
Good morning, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commission, Teresa Smalling, Director of HR and Risk Management for the city. Thank you for this proclamation to recognize Florida City Week. As it mentioned, a time set aside each year to celebrate the important role city government plays in shaping the quality of life in our communities. This week is an opportunity to highlight how city government connects directly to our daily lives. From award-winning water and wastewater programs to recreation centers and the library, city services directly and profoundly impact our quality of life. Every day, right here in our own community, city employees work together to deliver essential services, responding when our residents need emergency medical services, maintaining our roads, sidewalks, and parks, keeping our neighborhoods and business areas safe, and offering programs that make our city a great place to live, work, and raise a family. As we celebrate Florida City Week, we want to take a moment to recognize and thank all of our city employees, elected officials, and volunteers, as well as personnel from the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office, who happen to be here today, for their dedication and service to the city of Dunedin. For many, their hard work often happens behind the scenes, but it makes a lasting difference in the lives of our citizens every single day. So thank you.
Thank you, Teresa. And yeah, let's get the picture, sorry.
The odd one out.
And yeah, I'm just going to add, the backbone of our city is our employees, and local government is closest to the people. And as we always look for ways to how we're going to fund it, they're looking at that at Tallahassee. It just, what makes our community special is, the things that we can do in our community that are, different. We don't want to be the same old community as everybody else in Florida. We want to be different. So open to all the discussion on how local government should best be funded, but I think it's very important that citizens pay attention to it because who we are. If every funding source is cut off, we will slowly not be who we are. So I think responsible financing of our government is really important, but pay attention to the discussions, please, because if you have to vote for it, you want to vote in a way that really you understand the give and take of it. Thank you. Okay, we are going to move to Fire Prevention Week, and I will turn to Commissioner Sandberg.
Come on up, Mike. Good afternoon. Actually, Chief, sorry. All right. First of all, good morning, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager. Thank you for having us. This week, Dunedin Fire Rescue joins fire departments across the nation in celebrating Fire Prevention Week, a program that has been supported by the National Fire Protection Agency, NFPA, for more than 100 years. Each year, we focus on a theme that brings us life-saving information to the residents, and this year's theme is Charge into Safety, Lithium-Ion Batteries in Your Home. Lithium-ion batteries power so many of the tools that we use in our day-to-day lives. Power laptops, power tools, e-bikes, and even mobility scooters. They make our modern life convenient, but can be, when damaged, overcharged, or improperly stored, can become extremely dangerous. According to the national data from the NFPA and the U.S. Product Consumer Safety Commission, lithium-ion batteries have increased more than 40% over the past 5 years. Across the country, these fires are responsible for hundreds of injuries and dozens of fatalities each year, often starting suddenly and spreading rapidly. In many cases, they begin while devices are charging on couches, beds, or other combustible surfaces, turning everyday conveniences into a life-threatening event. And here in Dunedin, we take that risk seriously. Many of you know that the Pettigo store that was located just off of Railroad, off of Main Street, a couple years ago had a significant fire attributed directly to lithium-ion batteries that were in the e-bikes. Chief Castillo investigated that fire, and through actual security cam footage confirmed that. So it is a significant hazard. So we're definitely looking for people to only use certified batteries and chargers, charge devices on hard, flat surfaces, avoid using damaged batteries, and properly dispose of old batteries at recycling centers. So our message is safe. Fire prevention starts with awareness and small everyday choices. So thank you, and please join us in charging into fire safety this week and all year long. So our firefighters are going to be out over this month, as it's our month that we do fire prevention. We do fire prevention every day in the community, but we really focus this month in going out to the schools, different assisted living facilities, nursing homes, and different other communities to really put that message out there. So you'll see our firefighters all over this next month in schools and different events. So thank you guys very much, and I think there's a proclamation.
Yeah,
Sorry, I probably jumped the gun.
I have something for you, yeah. Thank you, yeah.
Faux pas number one.
When, yeah.
You gotta follow that.
Right, it's very difficult to follow. You know, I read through this a couple of times, and my, how things have changed. It was one time, it was important for me to remember to unplug the Christmas lights. Don't play with matches. What was it? Never smoke in bed. I mean, things have really changed. But as I was reminded by some cute grandkids, stop, drop, and roll. So does that you guys still use that one? Or?
Yes, absolutely. And
Yeah,
every time
okay.
in the community all the time.
So with that being said, whereas the City of Dunedin is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living in and visiting Dunedin, and whereas the National Fire Protection Association announces Charge into Fire Safety, lithium-ion batteries in your home as a theme for this year's Fire Prevention Week. And whereas fire is a serious public safety concern, both locally and nationally, and homes are the locations where people are at the greatest risk from fire. And whereas lithium-ion batteries are increasingly used to power everyday products, such as our cell phones, our laptops, e-scooters, e-bikes, power tools, and other devices found in homes. And whereas when not properly used, properly charged or disposed of, lithium-ion batteries can overheat, catch fire, or even explode, posing significant risk to life and property. And whereas Dunedin residents should always use battery devices and chargers that are listed by a nationally recognized testing laboratory. Follow the manufacturer's instructions for charging and storage. Stop using batteries that are damaged, cracked, or overheating. Charge devices only on a hard, flat surface away from beds, couches, and combustible materials. Never throw away lithium-ion batteries in household trash or recycling bins. Instead, dispose of them at approved collection or recycling sites. And regularly test home smoke alarms to ensure early warning in the event of fire. Now, I therefore, Stephen Sandbergen, Dunedin City Commissioner, by virtue and authority vested in me by Mayor Mo Freeney of the City of Dunedin, and on behalf of my entire City Commission, we hereby proclaim 2025 Fire Prevention Week theme to be Charge into Safety, Lithium Batteries in Your Home, to effectively remind us that we need to take personal steps to increase our safety from fire. Thank you, DFR.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you very much.
We'll get a picture. You guys are going to be a mile apart, right? Yeah.
And Mayor, if I may, when you talk about disposal of the batteries, I don't know whether you guys know it or not, but especially in solid waste, because of the price of those vehicles, they are told that if there's ever a fire in a solid waste or recycling vehicle, you dump that load wherever you are. And prior to being on the commission, I worked for the city of Clearwater, and you've actually seen that in action. And they dumped the load as soon as they saw smoke, and that smoke was a result of batteries in the load, and when they compact it, it starts a fire. So it really, really does happen. So thank you, Mayor.
Absolutely. So I think our firefighter of the year is delayed. Still delayed. Okay, so I think this might be a good time because I just got a text from my partner who said, where's all the Toronto Blue Jay gear? What's with the red shirts? So I think it's time to get the Toronto Blue Jay gear going here. That's how much we love our firefighters, though. But sorry, guys. As a woman, it just was too difficult.
As the city manager goes and does it.
And while they're changing out, I will also announce, and maybe Sue, you've got more information on this, but so on Spectrum, if you have cable or stream, you can get the channel 639 now. It is the Dunedin channel. So that's been a long time coming since we left the old City Hall, but it's officially up and running. And I've heard that. I know that you saw that it was up, but there were a lot of citizens that still have cable, and so they wanted it and finally got it. And special thanks to Dave Garcia with Spectrum, who seemed to find the magic to finally get it done, right, Sue? After 2 years. Anything you wanted to add about that, or? Sue Burness, our communications person.
Good morning, Mayor and Commission. Yes, no, we've been working on this for 2 years to try to get the cable reinstalled into the new City Hall because we couldn't transfer it over from the old City Hall. So it is live. We've been making sure it was tested, and we're actually viewing it live this morning here at City Hall, and we will be promoting it through all of our channels that those who have, and you have to have a cable box to be able to watch the channel. So you have to have Spectrum cable box, just so you know that as well. So one more way to watch.
Well, I have the Zumo box, so does that, because I get it and I'm streaming, so.
Okay,
Yeah, so-
whatever box you have, as
Yeah,
long as you've
but-
got a
but
box.
again-
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So we'll be promoting that through Dunedin News and all of our social media platforms.
That's awesome. And that was something we really pushed for because, again, we pride ourselves on making sure that we're as transparent everywhere, and that was an issue that was really important to a certain constituency of our population. So, okay, so,
Mayor, if I can, Sue, are we able to capture numbers or not?
No, we tried that 2 years ago,
Right.
and they wouldn't give us numbers.
And there's nothing we can do on our side since they can't do it, we can't? Okay. Thank you.
okay, I think we now have our firefighter of the year, and so I would ask firefighter EMT Michael Bowl. Well, I'll let the chief handle it. Chief Endoga, it's your game.
Thank you very much. Again, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, thank you very much. If I could have my fire department crew come up and join me.
My fire department.
I get to say that now.
That did
It's
sound
very
good.
nice.
I like
Day
our, I like
5.
our.
Along here's good, so. And I lost my firefighter of the year.
Oh, that's a good looking picture.
Michael Bowles to the front, please. On the way.
There he is.
They move with purpose, not speed. No, okay. So it is my honor to stand before you this morning to recognize Dunedin Fire Rescue's 2025 Firefighter of the Year, Michael Bowles. Michael joined Dunedin Fire Rescue on April 12th, 2023, as one of the first firefighters under the new lateral hire policy, something that you as the commission approved and supported. So it's an initiative that allows us to pay for experience and bring skilled professional firefighters into our organization at a higher pay step. Michael exemplifies exactly what that program was designed for, to attract exceptional, experienced firefighters who immediately elevate our department. So before coming to Dunedin, Michael began his career with Hernando County Fire Rescue in 2017, and later joined Pasco County Fire Rescue, where he served on a ladder truck and Squad 1 as part of their Special Operations Division. He was a primary member of Florida Task Force 425, which is a USAR urban search and rescue team, and he's a hazmat technician. Along with all that, he is also a large animal rescue technician. So if any large animals need rescuing, he's our guy. So it basically demonstrates a huge diverse skill set that he has brought to the department. So since joining Dunedin Fire Rescue, Michael has quickly become one of our most respected firefighters. He's obtained his acting lieutenant qualification. He is part of the training cadre, which trains the new firefighters and rookies when they come in. He serves on our safety committee and also on our apparatus build committee. He's been instrumental in mentoring our new firefighters during a period of significant hiring. Just this last year, we probably hired about 20. So he serves as the B-shift union rep, which handles all of this shift overtime, scheduling, special events. He handles all that for an entire shift. And he continues to represent his peers with professionalism, respect, and collaboration. So Michael's professionalism, initiative, and genuine passion for helping others makes him a role model within our organization. Today, he is joined by his wife, Jamie, and their son, Landon. Coming. Excellent. So when he's not serving the citizens of Dunedin, you'll often find him and his son Landon spending time together at the racetrack where they share a love for oval asphalt racing, which about 120 miles an hour at least, 140. Oh, yeah. So Firefighter Bowles truly embodies the core values of Dunedin Fire Rescue, which is service, professionalism, integrity, and teamwork. It's a privilege to recognize him today as our 2025 Firefighter of the Year. Congratulations, Michael. Well deserved. Hold on. So one thing I wanted to, we're starting a new tradition today, and the Firefighter of the Year from the previous year is going to present the current Firefighter of the Year with the plaque. So that was done quickly, but I'm sorry I didn't recognize that. But so today we're starting that, and it's a new day, and we appreciate it. So thank you, Commission, for recognizing us, and we'd love to get a picture with you all.
Yeah, we got to get the photo, but does anybody want to add any comments? Starting Vice Mayor?
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Sandberg?
No, I just wanted to say it's probably every little boy's dream to be a fireman, and you lived it, my friend. And thank you very much. Tell you that not only is the City Commission proud of you, but so is this entire community. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Mr. Walker?
Yeah, you know, I'm so proud of you guys, and I think wonderful. Congratulations. You obviously epitomize and uphold all of the values that Dunedin Fire and Rescue provides to our great community. So thank you for that. Thank you very
much. Mr. Sandberg?
If you ask a citizen, what is the element of Dunedin that they most appreciate? They follow with the word safety. You guys are the front line of that sentiment. People feel safe in Dunedin. My family feels safe in Dunedin. Thank you for helping us feel that way.
Before I take the final word, City Manager, did you want to add anything?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much, Mayor. I appreciate it. First of all, I'm very pleased that the policy that we put in place, the lateral hiring policy, worked.
Amazing.
Yeah, which is, it was put forward by admin in order to hire experienced firefighters. And at a time when we really needed that experience in the fire department. So I'm very pleased that that worked out and continues to work out. And congratulations, Michael. I know your wife is here. Is Landon here? Landon's in school. So we'll have lots of pictures so Landon can see how great his dad is. Congratulations. Thank you.
So what's your wife's name?
Jamie.
Jamie. Did you have to drop him off at the front door and park the car? That's what I thought. That's great. Well, that's good. I saw him, he kept looking for you,
She
so.
didn't even slow down, we saw it.
Yeah, just kicked him to the curb. Obviously, I'm proud of the whole department. It's so important. And, 85% or whatever the percentage is medical now. And, but you always have to be ready for that fire as well. Knock on wood, we don't want any. But you're there for people. And I don't want to have to call you for a long time since I've had to touch you guys 3 times in the last year. But you're there for people. And I'll tell you, when you're there, there's nothing else like it. When you're there quick and you're there with your expertise, that's everything to our community, and it shows in our surveys. So we thank you. And Michael, big kudos to you. Thank you for stepping up on a lot of this stuff and being that person, and obviously it's great for you to be recognized for all that you've done. So thank you, and congratulations to your wife. So, yeah.
Sorry for the rush in this morning.
Okay, yeah.
My nerves are a little frazzled.
I think
From Land O'Lakes at 7:20.
I love the name Landon, too. So how old is he?
He just turned 13.
Okay, that's awesome. I think Commissioner DeGard had a quick question.
I was just wondering about this large animal rescue specialty you have. What is the largest animal you've rescued?
So,
Can you talk into the mic, Michael?
Yeah.
Sorry.
all right, so the largest animal that I've rescued was a horse. But during the class it's put on by the University of Florida, they sponsor it, and they provide the county with all the equipment. They've got mocked up dummies of plastic cows and plastic horses that you pick up that are 2,000 to 3,000 pounds in the class. We did rescue a horse that later was sick and passed away, but yeah, it was a neat experience. So.
Not just cats out of trees.
No, there's a funny saying, you'll never see a dead cat in a tree. So he'll eventually come down. So thank you guys. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I really appreciate it. Sorry for being a little bit late. That's completely out of character for me. But I appreciate you guys holding it back for us.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for all you do, and let's get a picture. Maybe we should start with you and your wife by yourselves first, and then you and your wife and the chief, and then everybody.
She didn't think the dead cat thing was funny. I saw
She didn't. I saw her knocking. That's how you knock your mic.
He practiced that at home, and she said, don't say it. Don't say it.
You guys stay together. There we go. Got it.
Yep. Okay, now everybody. Everybody. Good luck, bro.
Yeah.
Can you get a little bit closer? Maybe a little bit.
There you go. Big guys up front.
Thank you. Okay. So while we're waiting for them to leave, we'll just make sure everybody knows, 8 p.m. tonight is the Blue Jay game, right? And you want to just say something about that? Our liaison to the Blue Jays is
I just wanted to make sure, I left lanyards on all of your desks yesterday.
Oh.
Those were from the Blue Jays. They've adopted Yeah, it's the
like to
slogan,
say.
"Want it all." So, yeah, check your desks. They wanted to make sure everybody had one for today.
Great,
So,
awesome.
good.
I'll make sure I go up and get it.
Thank you, yeah.
Good, yes, so they can clinch tonight. Let's do it. Sorry, Yanks, but I'm not for you. I'm for the Jays. All right, here we go. So we have Dunedin Causeway update from Pinellas County Transportation Division. Several of us asked for this to get an update on what's going on with the causeway, and I guess apparently
Bartlett
Sue will
will,
be
yeah.
leading us off.
Good morning. Sue Bartlett, Public Works Director. Good morning, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager.
Good morning, Sue.
Attorney. Hi, Michelle. It's my pleasure this morning to introduce Tom Washburn. He's a PE from Pinellas County. He's the Transportation Division Director. And he was here in January to give an update on the causeway. And he's back at your request to give you an update. He has a brief presentation, and then he'll take some questions. And you all may know, but our citizens may not know, that the Dunedin Causeway is a collaborative effort. It is actually owned by Pinellas County, the right-of-way, but there are interlocal agreements for the city to do certain maintenance items there, like parks. They take care of the landscaping and the trash and, make it a beautiful place for us. But now the damage has been done by the hurricanes, and so Tom will give us a little update on how that progress is going. They have been very collaborative with us, working with several city departments, looking at traffic flow, improving safety, signs. Again, signs and markings are the city's responsibility. But soon, again, we'll be entering into another interlocal with ITS and transferring some of those. So not for the citizens to worry about it. They can just let one of us know, and we'll notify the other if there's something that needs to be addressed. So with that, I would like to introduce Tom. If you come up. Thank you for coming.
Hi, Tom. Thank you for being here.
Of course. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for having me again. As Sue said, I was here in January, and I've got a quick presentation, just an update on 3 items that I wanted to brief you on. If you can go to the next slide here. So just real quick, I want to give you an update on where we're at with the storm damage that occurred out on the causeway during the storms last year. Give you an update on the one-way circulation. We talked about that last time, and what our plan is moving forward. And then I understand that there's been some concerns about vehicles that have ended up on the Pinellas Trail. So we've got some ideas behind that I'll brief you on as well. So real quick on the storm damage, there were two areas of storm damage that occurred. The first was probably the more immediate safety concern. It was up on the bridge with the sidewalk and the railings and the fender system that's there. So that was an emergency repair. That cost us about $60,000. We did submit the paperwork to FEMA for reimbursement, and just to give you an idea of the time frame, we just received the agreement from FDOT. They manage all the grants with FEMA. So FEMA issues the money, and DOT manages the grants on behalf of the state of Florida. But we just received the agreement for that particular repair, and that just went to our Board of County Commissioners last month. So that's been complete. The next area, and probably the more significant, is the erosion that's occurred on the southeast side, or actually the southwest side of the causeway, southwest of the bridge. When I was here in January, our estimate at that time was about $440,000, so you can see that's about tripled. We're up to about $1.3 million. That's the latest estimate that we've submitted to FHWA for the repairs. We are still working through, this is one of 5 projects that the county is seeking additional FEMA reimbursement. So we've been working, we've been in contact with FEMA and FDOT, trying to keep updated on the status, but we don't have a timeline yet for when we expect to receive that agreement. Once we do receive that agreement, we do have a schedule that we intend to adhere to. We plan to mobilize within 2 weeks. We're going to use our general contractors for the bulk of this repair, and also using our in-house services. So we plan to mobilize in a very short period of time once we have the agreement in place. And then we're going to focus on the parking area. I know that's been an area of concern with facilities that are out there. We've been coordinating with Glenn, and I think he's here today, but we've been coordinating with him. We're also looking at ways, and we should have an answer this week on whether we can expand the parking a little bit that's out there. But the goal is to focus on that parking area, get that open within 2 months, and then focus on the erosion that's occurred on the embankments there. And that'll, in total, it's about a 3 to 4 month duration for those repairs once we get that agreement in place. Moving on to the one-way circulation, the last time that I was here, we had a plan for both sides of the causeway. Again, as a result of the storms, so we've kind of pivoted in our approach. We're going to pilot the north side and we've got, and I'll show you a graphic here in a second. We're going to postpone the south side until we figure out if this is going to work. You know, we think it's a good solution. We've had a lot of coordination with the groups that are out there, including city staff and some of the committees, and gotten some positive feedback from everybody, mostly from the sheriff's office. They think that the circulation pattern is going to be helpful when traffic starts to back up from Honeyman Island. You can go to the next slide, Sue. So this is similar to what I presented last time, but you'll see that, you know, we're focusing on the north side. We do have one entrance that we're proposing to close. We're not going to touch that at this time. We're going to keep everything as it is out there and just put the signs up there, but nothing on the south side at this time. Next slide. And this is one of the entrances. It just gives you an idea of what the signing, because it's all dirt out there, we can't put any pavement markings on the frontage road, but we'll handle it with signing. We'll coordinate with city and with the sheriff's office for enforcement. We'll have plenty of signing out there, variable message boards before we intend to implement, so that everybody's aware that the change is coming. We'll let the sheriff's office know, and then we'll have quite a bit of time out there just seeing how operations work and seeing, you know, if there's issues that occur, something that we didn't quite anticipate. But again, we're looking to pilot this, and we'll be looking for any feedback, positive or negative, on how it's operating.
When are you going to pilot it, though?
Our intention is to have those installed by the end of October. So, and again, that's pending feedback that I get today, obviously. And then the last thing is vehicles on the trail. This was brought to our attention. You see the picture in the top left. That's one of the vehicles that, for whatever reason, got off on the trail and then ended up getting a good ways down there before they got stopped. The photo in the bottom left is where most of this seems to be occurring. This is just before the entrance to Honeyman Island, where we've got that turnaround. The picture in the top right kind of shows what somebody making a turn at that location would be, or what they would see. So you can see there's an open area with the guardrail. We've got a pedestrian crossing there right now. So our intention is to relocate that crossing over to Royal Stewart Arms, and then use some type of a railing or guardrail system to wrap around to prohibit vehicles when they're making this turn from getting out onto the trail. You can see in the top right picture and in the bottom right picture, we do have bollards out there. Obviously, the bollard is set in the middle of the trail, so it doesn't quite provide enough. It doesn't provide enough of a resistance for anybody, especially a smaller vehicle that may get out there. But the photo in the bottom right, the bollard that was put in there as a result of one of these incidents. And that's positioned just before you get to the Tidal Relief Bridge, where the trail starts to narrow down. You know, so we do think that's in a good location. But we intend to use a similar type of treatment at all entrances from the causeway onto the parking area. We've got a standard bollard type treatment that you see with any other trail crossing. We think that's going to help prevent vehicles from getting out there and getting in a situation, in a location where they should not be. And with that, I'm happy to take any questions. I know that was brief and quick, but...
First of all, could you go back to that last slide? So, is that your car, Vice Mayor? Sorry. Couldn't help myself. Okay, I'm going to go to questions. I'll start with Commissioner Walker.
Thank you, Mayor. This wasn't necessarily covered in the scope of what you presented, but Is it the erosion on the southeast side of the causeway that's basically preventing the jet ski access?
Correct, yes.
Okay, and what was the timeline for that?
The timeline, once we get the agreement from FEMA, we expect the total repair to take 4 months, 3 to 4 months, but we expect to have that parking area open within 2 months.
Yeah, well, and the reason I'm asking is, one, that was an inquiry that I got from the Park Service, but more importantly was the feedback that followed. And essentially, you know, over the course of not having access down there, and it probably in measure due to probably lighter boat traffic because of what's going on at Hurricane Pass, they've seen a marked improvement and increase in marine life in that whole area. So I found that interesting. And you know, again, that decision would be made, though, following the repairs to open that back up, I presume. Or is there a plan possibly not to open it back up to jet skiers?
That we don't have a plan not to open it back up. I think that would probably be a discussion with the city and with your committees. You know, we'd be open to a discussion, but.
Turn your mic on.
You got to get closer.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, Tom.
Yeah, the county does not have plans to not open that back up the way it was prior to. So if there's any discussion, that would be a coordinated effort with the city.
Okay, and so we would get, it would come before us, I presume, then, for discussion, or?
It's,
I think that actually, if we insert ourselves at this point and say we'd like to have that discussion, I don't see it circling back necessarily as a part of the process. So, is that true, Tom?
it is Dunedin's request for the jet ski area and the signage and even access. So yes, and I can go with Tony, and we can make sure. We have been meeting. We haven't met for a while, but it's a large group, including ESO and all, and we can certainly put that on our agenda and talk internally about it.
Yeah.
That's good feedback, though. We do hear from the jet skiers and the launch there. We have heard from them when we proposed the one-way circulation, when the county proposed it, and then we brought it out. And there was some objections to it, but it's actually good to hear that it's a positive impact on the environment. So I think at least needs to be looked into. We'll do that.
Well, and I'd even say carry it one step further. You know, having, you know, been on the water extensively in that area, I will say that without any sort of enforcement or any sort of, you know, just regulation in terms of the traffic down there, I really think that, you know, we need to take a serious look at this because, you know, I know this also that, you know, there's these tours that come out from Clearwater Beach, and you know, honestly, that's problematic enough. So anyway, just food for thought, hopefully. Thank you.
Okay, that's it? Okay, Commissioner DeGarden, questions?
Well, first of all, let me compliment my colleague for bringing that issue up. The flora and the fauna have all benefited from this peaceful period where there aren't jet skis running through that area. And I don't know how we begin to put that into the equation of recreation and how that balances, but I think it is something that needs to be carefully examined. My question has to do with the possibility, we're seeing one-way traffic on the north side of the causeway. Any thoughts on making one-way on the south side?
Yes, sir. When we were here in January, the plan that I showed actually showed the same type of circulation pattern on the south side. That required a little bit more work. Again, going back to the jet ski area, what we wanted to do was make sure that the jet skis weren't having, when they were being towed, having to make a huge circulation pattern to get onto and off of the causeway. But we do have a plan in place for the south side as well. It's just with the damage that's out there and some of the other work that has to be done, that's proved to be problematic to do it at this time.
That's all I have. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. With the slide that we're on, you had mentioned the movement of that crosswalk.
Yes, sir.
And who uses that crosswalk now? You know?
I would say primarily it's probably people from the condo association, or maybe people, I don't know that it's anybody coming from Honeymoon Island. That's a pretty long trek if you're parked over there, but I would say it's probably anybody from the condominium area looking to get to the trail.
And it would just be my suggestion that we understand who's using that crosswalk
Sure.
to decide whether or not it should be moved or not. Because it could be, the intent is good, but you could be doing more harm from the people who are using it, and now you've just moved it farther away. And for the circulation, was that primarily instituted because of the storm damage, or is it more traffic management on the causeway?
No, the one-way circulation is an idea that we've been talking with the city about for several years. We were getting several safety complaints with interactions between motorists looking for a place to park and pedestrians after they've parked, either getting out to the beach area or crossing the street. So we were just getting a lot of concerns about speeding, two-way traffic in an area where there's not a lot of room to maneuver, and then dangerous interactions with pedestrians.
Okay. And for the storm damage and, what's it, slide, it's like the fourth slide. We expect we expect completion within 3 to 4 months on that?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
3 to 4 months for the completion of that, there we go.
Once we have the agreement in place, yes. So that's really the unknown right now, is when we're going to get the agreement from FEMA to proceed with the
Okay.
work.
And that's FEMA federal level?
Correct.
It is shut down right now? Okay, you just understanding timelines. Not
Even
making-
if
not making a statement, but,
FHWA is also, they're hand in hand, so Florida, the Highway Administration's Federal Highway Administration, yes, closed also.
okay, so maybe 6 months, right? That's what we're talking, hopefully. All righty. I know our hands are tied there from that timeline standpoint, but hopefully we'll have everything in place so that when we do get that agreement, the ball can really roll and we can get that completed. I know this is one of 5 projects for the county, but this is our home. And our residents are really, really anxious. They want their causeway back. Is along with the many number of visitors that we have.
No, I understand, and we are ready to mobilize.
All right, thank you. And I agree with my colleagues. I'm looking forward to a conversation about the jet skis and the impact on the environment. So thank you very much. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, Commissioner Sandbergen, questions?
Yes, it's been 52 weeks, and I know the citizens are getting to the point where enough's enough. So from this day forward, we still can't give them a hard date until we have FEMA acceptance. Is that what I'm understanding?
Correct.
And as prior to the 52 weeks prior, is it safe to say that there's been stuff going on behind the scenes that the public doesn't know about?
I would say that's safe. We are in constant communication with FDOT and with FEMA, just trying to get a status of not just this project, but the other 4 that we're waiting on. There is a risk that any agency runs if we go out to make the repairs without that agreement in place, that we could end up forfeiting the reimbursement. And that's the reason that we're on hold with these projects.
So the county would end up picking up the tab to put back?
Correct.
I know what was there obviously didn't work. What about any resiliency, changing of the products that are laid down there, riprap, whatever? Is there any idea to make that a little bit more resilient when this happens again?
I believe that we do have that plan. We have a grant that we're working on. It's a resiliency grant specific to the causeway, and we're looking at those type of improvements, living shorelines, for instance, and those type of things. But I would see where that could roll into to these type of improvements as well.
Okay, good. Because we're counting on you, because we're hearing it from our citizens, so we need your help.
We hear it too.
Thank you, sir.
So, and just, Sue, I guess this is really for you. Just a whole history of the jet skis, because I have some memory of some of the approvals eons ago, and I'm just curious, is it all, like, when it was allowed, when it, you know, just the history of it. If we could get that, that would be awesome.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yep,
you don't have to tell me
we'll
now. Let's see. Well, I think everybody's kind of beat the drum on the, you know, the agreement's the key, in which it's out of your control, and we understand that, and we understand that you don't want to, you know, get stuck with the bill. So, but boy, it's tough to tell the citizens that. But again, you're ready to go as soon as you get that agreement and get it signed, and then it's a four-month
We are,
process.
yes.
And then so once you do the pilot on the north side and get the results of that, you'll come back to us before you do anything as far as a pilot on the south side.
Correct.
And you're not waiting for any of the one-way stuff. If you get the agreement and you, to do the south side for storm damage, you're doing it. You're not waiting for anything. Those two things are separate. The whole
That is
pilot
correct.
one-way, okay, got it. I just want to make sure of that. And I think that, before I ask if there's anybody in the audience wishes to ask, did you have a quick follow-up?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Thank you. You know, I just remember growing up here that nobody went to the causeway. You know, I actually took all my swimming lessons out on Dunedin Beach at the time, all the way to Honeymoon Island. And then as populations increased, you know, then all of a sudden the south side became popular on the causeway. We had bonfires in high school and things of that nature. And so I'm talking decades, not changes over days or weeks or years. And then as population increased, all of a sudden we're seeing a migration over to the north side. So what used to be the lower end place to go now, all no holes barred on where you on the causeway. And so when you talk about the renourishment of the south side, particularly, which has become very popular, and talking about resiliency and sustainability and living shorelines, do you have any concept of that? Do you know what impact that's going to have on the causeway as it relates to recreation activities? And, you know, is that going to be no longer be accessible for water recreation? Not just jet skis, but just fishing or wading?
Yeah, I would say we haven't gotten into it that deep yet to identify what those impacts are. I'm sure that's part of what our grant requirements are with that resiliency grant, though.
Right. Okay, thank you very much. Because I think that needs to be part of the conversation, and if we can be part of that as well.
Absolutely, yeah. We coordinate with the Sue and city staff, and like I said, the committees that you have out there. Yeah, we don't do anything in a vacuum.
Environment and recreation, you know, it's almost now with population, we're putting 10 pounds of mud in a 5-pound bucket, and decisions need to be made, so it'd be great to be part of those discussions, have a seat at the table, so thank you.
Absolutely.
So there is some sand going on down in the south side. Any chance we can get some sand dumped on the causeway?
I think we've been doing, you know, the areas on the south side that aren't damaged by this. I think we have been doing some of that treatment that, you know, is part of our interlocal agreement. Yeah, I think we're still maintaining, you know, what we're committed to do in that area.
Okay. Tom, I'm just going to allow public to comment, so if you want to maybe even sit by Sue, that'd be great. So is there anyone in the audience wishes to come forward to speak on this issue? Okay, there we go. Former Commissioner Torringa, welcome.
Hey, welcome,
Good to see you.
welcome. John Torringa, 1901 Saddle Hill Road North, Dunedin, Florida. I began boating here in 1990. Long time jet skier before and during and after the period of 2000 with my kids. And so I was a guy that had the shovel, and while the kids were out on the jet ski, I'm the one shoveling the sand from all of the divots that were made by the weather. on the south side. So that's occurred, that has always occurred, that's been occurring forever, but I just wanted to make that comment. We are a coastal city, and sometimes we have to invest in that, and we've gone for over a year now without having our causeway. I was one of the chair of the causeway, of the Waterfront Task Force, and one of the things that we looked at was what's really important for us to be a coastal city, and one of the things was, of course, our causeway. It is the one place in Dunedin that you can watch a sunset and watch a sunrise. All you have to do is move a little bit, but you really don't even have to do that. So you get both of those features. Naturally, when you have any vessel that's floating in any kind of shallow water, you can create problems for, let's call it, nature. But we live with that, and that's how we've done that in the past. The solution, and Tom, I just want to make this comment, and I think I've made this before in some of the committees, an easy solution for the north side is to simply close the two western exit or entrances for a right turn. And that would require then some officer down there writing some serious tickets in the beginning. But it allows freedom on the north side. As opposed to just making it one way, let people move around. People see friends that come later, come earlier, they park in another place and they say, somebody says, Julie, get the car, let's go and let's get together with everybody. Let's have some freedom out there. So it's an easy, just two signs. The sign department will be happy to do that. So rather than get into all the stipulations of trying to control, let's let them use as they wish and have it be as natural as it can. By the way, in the Waterfront Task Force, when people were asked where the beach was, most of the people said the beach was on the causeway. Some said it was in other places, some said it was way out in the island, Honeymoon Island. But it's on the causeway. That's our causeway. That's what helps make Dunedin, Dunedin. Let's not take away all the freedom. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Anyone else wish to come forward and speak on this issue? Got a couple people. Name and address for the record. How you doing? In 3 minutes.
Lenny Carr, 2169 Cedar Drive. Just to make a comment, I really wasn't prepared, but I see a lot of people are obviously anti, as you call it, jet ski or personal watercraft, and that's fine, I understand. We purchased our personal watercraft and we go island hopping. We don't go on the weekends for the same reasons I think a lot of people are against the jet skis. The weekends are chaos. Chaos on the causeway, in fact, is what I called it. There's got to be a middle ground solution. I'm all for the nature part. I get that. Anytime there's a lot of activity, that's going to happen. We don't go on the weekends for the obvious reasons. If there's something you can consider to make personal watercraft maybe not allowed on the weekends, just a suggestion. Again, I wasn't prepared for this. But again, we live right by the causeway, excuse me, and we would hate to see that right taken away to be able to take our watercraft out there and go island hopping, things like that. We pick up trash when we're out there. So not everybody's the bad actors that you see on the weekends. That's all I wanted to say on the matter. Thank you.
Thank you, Lenny. Okay, anyone else wish to come forward? Looks like Cindy. Come on down. Name and address for the record in 3 minutes.
I love the causeway, and I go out there with a group of people early in the morning before the sun comes up, and we get our kayaks out there, and we go kayaking and watching the sun rise. And it's beautiful, and I'm just going to tell you, since the hurricane and no jet skis out there, the marine life has been just amazing. We have many, the manta rays coming in, and different species of the manta rays coming in. The dolphins, the sea turtles, the seagrass, just everything has just been blossoming out there in the whole area. And the sand is shifting. We have more sandbars out there, and it's maybe like that deep, and that's great for kayakers. We love it. But one day I was sitting out there, and here came a jet ski just speeding by, and I thought, oh my God, he's gonna crash and hit me, and I'm gonna die. But he just went so fast, and I just was like, are you crazy? What are you? It's only 6 feet, 6 inches. But anyway, the seagrass, everything, just everything is beautiful. And I'm talking on just saving our marine life.
Pardon me. Can I please get your name and address?
Oh,
for the
yes,
record?
yes, and I've been living here since 1990. I live at 433 Orangewood Drive, Dunedin, and my name is Cindy Cole.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anyone else wish to come forward and speak? Come on down. Hi.
Good morning. Good morning, Mayor. My name is Kevin Sennett, 606 Seacourt in Dunedin, which is right behind Frenchie's on the causeway there. So I am only a 5-year resident of Dunedin, so haven't been here forever. I do own a jet ski, do boat, and we use the causeway extensively for biking and walking, not jet skiing, but we live right on it and am familiar with jet skis. So I can only tell you, my wife and I love when we walk out there on a weekend in the past and see numerous families enjoying their time without their dogs, with kids, children, enjoying a family time, a family cookout. And as a daily walker of that causeway on Monday mornings, I notice that all the trash is bagged, put right by the dumpsters or the trash cans if they're full. So I think the misconception that these people that are using that causeway, that are Pinellas County residents, not necessarily Dunedin, but it is a Pinellas County property as well as city property, that these people are trashing the place is not necessarily true when we walk by on Monday morning and see the bags there. So I encourage the city to be involved with the county on the future of the use of the jet skis out there, and I encourage that we make sure that the total users are involved with that, not just the city, but the county residents that use that causeway as well. So, thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Did you get what you needed from Kevin? Okay, good. I want to make sure. Okay, anyone else wish to come forward? Becky, come on down, girl.
Good morning,
Address,
everybody.
yeah.
Becky Stein, or Rebecca Stein, 2240 Watrous Drive, Dunedin. Good morning, everybody. This is a great discussion. I just wanted to add my opinion is balance. So as I hear all of our residents talk about the causeway, we all enjoy it. We all enjoy it for different reasons. So I'd implore you all to think about the balance of how we use it, from our jet skiers to our eco-tourism folks. We have the state park there, which is there for the natural beauty of Florida. But we also have our citizens and our visitors who love the boating and the water. And so there's got to be a balance somewhere within all of this. I'm going to leave that up to you guys. I don't have an idea for it. However, ecotourism is continuing to increase in dollars, and of course, the more tourism we have, the more it offsets our millage rate. So I would look at it from an economic point of view. And I would also just caution that in the past, I'm a very novice boater. Actually, I never drive it, only Bob does. But during those years prior to the hurricane, to go out Hurricane Pass was a direction we chose not to go because of the jet skis. It was just dangerous. And for the kayakers, they were always taking their lives in their own hands as they went across that channel going out there. So again, within balance, ecotourism and the beauty of our waters, along with all of the sports that our people enjoy. There's got to be a balance in it for everybody. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Way to lay out the problem. Okay, anyone else wish to come forward and speak on this issue? Okay, seeing no one, we'll move forward. And so, does anyone have any final comments they want to make? Commissioner Walker?
Well, I'm glad you brought up the renourishment of the beaches. How does that work exactly in terms of how it gets funded, scheduled, all of that stuff, just in terms of sand renourishment.
Are you asking in terms of the work that we do out there to regrade?
Well, yeah, and also to correct any erosion on the beach sides.
Okay, so we've got an interlocal agreement with the city, and I think we, by that interlocal agreement, it's 6 times a year that we go out, and we take whatever sand is necessary to basically smooth out the divots that one of the citizens mentioned. And we regrade it, and, you know, that's, like I said, that's part of our interlocal agreement. Our operating budget and our road department is budgeted, you know, for that work.
Okay, all right. No, thank you.
Okay, anything else? Okay. Commissioner DeGard? Vice Mayor?
No.
Commissioner Sandbergen?
Nothing, Mayor.
I don't have anything either, but you might as well go ahead. You want to clarify that? Sure. Yeah, why don't you go? Yeah, go ahead, because I thought the same thing, so I was kind of curious, so go ahead.
John, can you step back up? I've got a question. Point, you don't mind? I just wanted you to clarify, the way I interpreted what you said was you want to keep the two-way traffic, but maybe limit the entrances that are there to one point on the west end. Was that?
One of the problems, Commissioner, that I've been told is paramount, is that people want to take a quick drive on the right-hand side when traffic is stopped, and then they want to merge back in and get ahead of everyone. If that is the case, if that is the issue, then you can, one of the ways to solve that is on the final 2 Exeter entrances, you just say you can't take a right turn there. So no one will try to come down there if they knew that, or if they do that, they'll see that you can't take a right turn. So there's no advantage for them to try to jump off and take the dirt road down there.
Right.
So in other words, we can leave it as natural as what we want to leave it, but just not allow anybody to take a right turn to try to get ahead of any of the traffic. Now, there is racing that goes on down there on occasion on both sides, but particularly on it. Well, I guess most I've seen has been on the north side, but we're not attempting to. For example, we saw one vehicle here. Fine, you're going to see a vehicle in a bank someplace. You can capture that at all times. But I was just talking about the freedom of the use of the property that's out there, so that somebody can go back and forth or run from one side, you know, from the east to the west, staying on that same side of the road without having it be one way.
Right.
So that was the purpose and that was the intent. And if that answers your question, then I'll sit down.
It does, yes. So thank you, sir, very much. Appreciate that.
Thank you, John. Great. And Tom, have you looked at that?
Yeah, actually, we looked at several different options as we were developing this final plan. I think the drawing that I showed up there actually had one of those entrances closed that we were proposing. At this point, we weren't planning on doing that. We thought it was more important to get the signs out there and just kind of see how the circulation works. But we did consider, you know, options to keep the two-way traffic. But again, the second part of the concern that we were hearing was a safety concern, the interaction between the vehicles, you know, trying to negotiate two-way traffic in an area that's very small and not conducive to it necessarily, and interacting with pedestrians. So it was several different areas that we were trying to address from a safety standpoint.
So, you okay?
Yeah, I was just going to say, another reason, I mean, we went out, Pinellas went out, and as well as City of Dunedin, to the Civic Association and to the Coastal Waterway, Causeway and Coastal Waterway committees to talk about some of these options. And we started with parks. I mean, you know, several departments in the city and in the county at the SO's request, Sheriff Office request, because of the safety concerns. And then as we talked, Pinellas is really wanting to renegotiate the interlocals and update them. They're pretty old, and make sure that everything's current. And in that process, it was, you know, the facts were presented that this is actually the most expensive piece of roadway maintenance-wise, dollar-wise, in Pinellas County, and we were looking for ways also to reduce the cost of the maintenance, but it still maintains service level. And one of those ways is by making one-way traffic, you reduce the turning moment and disruption of the sand there on that causeway, so it actually helps with that maintenance cost and the frequency at which you have to regrade. But the primary reason was to look at the safety. We did work with solid waste too, and the way, how they have to get in there and pick up things, and, can they make the turning moment? We talked about, we closed some entrances and opened others to make sure it was convenient, especially when we talked on the south side, because that's where the restroom is to make sure people could get back to that quickly, not have to go all the way down the causeway, as well as Tom mentioned, even looking at jet ski traffic to, the motorized trailer pieces, to make sure they didn't have to go all the way down to the bathroom and turn around, looking at both directions, which is the most desirable and the best safety option for that movement. So it was not that we wouldn't look at it again, but it was looked at very closely by a lot of different parties to come up with the current proposal. And then on top of that, as Tom said, we wanted to do the pilot, see how it works, because in real life, when you get out there, it doesn't always work how you think it was going to, and what kind of disruption it would be for our citizens, and was it convenient enough that they could get to those places as quickly as they wanted to, or go meet another family. So trying to balance.
The idea makes sense. I mean, you can see people trying to cut off there, and all of a sudden you can't. You only have to learn it once. You're not going to do it again. So, but okay, as long as you guys have looked at that. Okay, I think we can move on from there. Tom, thank you again for coming, and can you kind of beat it? Well, of course you can't beat up on FEMA now, right? Because they're closed. So anyway, appreciate it. Thank you. And I think we'll take a quick break and then restart. Well, actually, I take it back. We're going to go ahead and go to citizen input first, and then we'll take a quick break. Does anyone in the audience have anything they wish to come forward to speak to that is not on the agenda? Okay, seeing no one, I'll close citizen input, and we're going to take a short break before we start on our items. So thank you. restart the meeting, and our first workshop item is Social Connection Survey. And staff presentation, I guess I'm turning to Jennifer.
Yes.
Okay, I'm turning to Jennifer.
Yeah.
You kick it off.
Good morning again, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioners. I do not want to steal the Committee on Aging's thunder, so I'm going to ask Cindy to come on up, if you will. Thank you. And the Committee on Aging is here. If you put up your hand. Yep, come on up, everybody.
Bringing them all.
We're a team. We're a team.
So the Committee on Aging has been working for a long time with Commissioner Dugard regarding the Social Connection Survey. The survey is attached to your agenda item. As is our procedure, the City Commission would review the survey and either support sending it out or not, but it's coming out. It will come out under the Committee on Aging's, under their title, if you will. I have reviewed the survey with Cindy, and it really is intended to reach out to those who are isolated in our community, and there are quite a few of them. I did brief all of you yesterday on the survey and the intent of the survey, and then I'll just hand it over to Cindy to talk a little bit more about the committee's work. Go ahead, Cindy.
Hey, Cindy, it's your show.
Okay, good morning, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, and our City Manager. Well, for over a year, the Committee on Aging has been always thinking out of the box, how we can improve, what we can do to help our seniors, which I really want to find a new word for seniors, but I'll say it today. And then a year ago, Tom Dugard started coming to our committee meetings on the fourth Monday of the month at 9 a.m. And we were talking about things that we can do to help our seniors who live in this community. And we know that the three are health, transportation, and food. But we also noticed that loneliness, and a few of us standing right here right now are, we work in the community of seniors. We're out there helping these people every day. And we noticed that there was more and more isolation, loneliness. A lot of our seniors are lonely for whatever reasons. They have no family. They are homebound. They can't get out of their house or their apartment. And we wanted to reach out to that. We wanted to figure out how can we help this, because this is a growing number. It's growing in our nation. More and more communities are seeing more senior loneliness. So Tom, who comes to our meetings, not all of them, but he does come to quite a few, he suggested that he had a survey of 12,000 voters that he used, and we thought, well, let's see what we can do to help their loneliness and have a survey. So we spent a year talking about this and had planning what we were going to put on that survey, what questions we wanted to ask, and everything that we want to do. And then when we start this survey, hopefully in 6 weeks we get it out there, that we can start planning on what we want to do. We have several things that we've been talking about. One is senior to senior. We will have seniors in Dunedin High School who want to, for whatever hours that they have to get in for school, meet us at the health center once a month, and we will call seniors that are isolated in their home, can't get out. And one of the examples of the senior to senior was started in Buffalo, New York. This kid, he was 18 years old, calls this lady that's 92 isolated in her home. They found out that they both love LP records. They taught that, so every month they would get together on the phone and talk about records. And then she looked forward to it and the kid looked forward to it. So we want to start that. We've been talking about that. We also been thinking about having cards going out to people. We'll do that once a month. And I talked to the Dollar Tree. They're going to donate cards. And we'll send it out to people, the seniors who are home, lonely, isolated, saying, we're thinking of you, City of Dunedin, Committee of Aging. And we just got a bunch of other things going on. Phone Pal, where we'll do at the health center, and it's going to be no cost. It'll be all volunteer, and we'll do that once a month and reach out and start that way. But the survey's going to help us get started. And on that note, I'm just so grateful, and I look forward to working with the city. You guys want to add anything, Michael? Any of you? Okay. Yeah, sure. Go ahead, go add something too there.
Sure. Michael Post. Been working with seniors probably for 18 years in all aspects of Pinellas County. Yet we know that isolation has become a huge epidemic. It started with COVID-19, and really from there with the 2 hurricanes, it's just gone out of control. We haven't even got the right numbers yet. We have a feeling that the mental loneliness is still catching up to seniors, just like hurricanes. We know that the mental challenge of being hurricanes and COVID takes up to a year to hit people emotionally at home. So we are already seeing this come to fruition now, and we know there's even going to be more of it in the future. So just trying to let seniors know that we're here and help them really not to be as lonely. This survey is key to getting information so we can develop plans and ideas to help them, because right now we don't know a lot. We only know a little bit. So
we want to know more.
We want to know so much more so that we can actually develop programs around it. It's not going to be redeveloping the wheel. There are Pinellas Park, Fire Department does a great thing with seniors, so does Gulfport. So it's really going to be finding out what the need is, getting with other local communities on what they're doing, not reinvent the wheel, and then be able to bring this to our seniors here in Dunedin.
And 54% is 55 of the 12,000, 54,000, 54% is 55 and older. And it is a growing concern. It truly is. It's going to get bigger.
Okay, I'm going to see if there's any questions for you. I will start with Vice Mayor. Questions?
I love you guys, really. Such amazing work, Mayor, I really don't, I got comments.
Okay, hold on to that. Commissioner Sandberg?
Just one. Will it be emailed, or how, I mean, I'm not sure, some of these people are computer savvy. How do you plan on reaching out to the people?
Some of them are, some of them aren't. So we're going to have hard copies at the health center and here at the city hall. And we probably, we don't have no budget. So we work on donations and what we can get to make the committee thrive for our committee. And so that's where we're going to start, just that, and, and.
A lot of seniors have
Yeah, a lot of them do. A lot of them do email. Yeah, that's right, we'll do email. I just went blank there for a while, thinking about the jet skis. No, never mind. Okay, but yes, they do, yeah, you'd be surprised. There's 94-year-olds that are out there with their laptop and they're homebound, and they are on their emails and how they connect with their family some way, somehow, and do their puzzles.
So it would have I'm not sure you guys know this, or the city manager, it would have a Dunedin.gov return email. I'm just wondering, I tell my mother, don't answer unless you know. So I'm just to be clear.
Oh.
See where I'm going with that?
It would be a .gov, yes.
A .gov, so they would see from the Dunedin.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
We'll make it accessible from websites, from newsletters. We'll make sure it's easy to
And
access.
Tom DeGard's been working with us on this survey and everything, and it's going to be done right. Yeah, we're hoping. Yes, we are.
It's going to be perfect, yeah.
We are. Okay. All right.
Okay, Commissioner Walker, questions?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Just related to what Steve was asking, in terms of just the outreach on this, have you guys approached Mies at all? Yeah,
Mies Life?
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, but.
We're not really worried about the ones as much in assisted livings as we are the ones in private individual homes.
Yeah, and
Mies Life has
their connections, but.
As a matter of fact, and we deal with Silver Santas through BLS and AAAPP on assisted living and loneliness. completely different.
Talking to the microphone.
Got to talk into the mic.
Here, go ahead. You talk, go ahead.
I was going to say, we're more really concerned about seniors that are in their homes, not assisted livings. We have AAAPP, BLS, Silver Santas, that we handle that
Yeah.
for assisted livings, memory cares. But of course, there are going to be some needs in those communities as well, but we're really looking for those that are isolated in their home with no one around them, not even a caregiver.
Yeah, nobody. And there's many out there. And there is many, because they want to stay in their home. That's their treasures. They're 90. They have their treasures in their house, but they're just all by themselves. Nobody. And that's who we need to reach out to, because nobody is. And that's why we need the survey to get started, to reach out to them.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. Well, actually, that answered that part of the question, but the other thing that I might suggest is working, and this is in the interest of the fact that you don't have a budget for this, but approaching them and being a partner in this to leverage what their resources might be to really kind of assist in that outreach. So that's just a thought on that. And then
I think the more outreach would be to do a nonprofit.
Through a nonprofit.
MEAS is a profit.
Yeah.
So if we go through Better Living for Seniors,
Got
Fair
it.
Agency, Aging, Pinellas Pasco.
Yeah.
It's the nonprofits we'd be getting funding from, not a profit.
Totally, okay, that totally makes sense.
nonprofit.
Yeah, no, okay. Well, it's just it's more of a blanket question than
Okay.
really. But the other thing is, you've already done this, and I think the senior to senior is a great example of this, but as you're getting the results back in the survey and everything associated with it, really start thinking about what this means in future programs. Because
Right.
you want to have a place to basically apply your focus based on the data that you're getting back. And
Yes, that's correct.
yeah, well, you guys are doing great work. I'm always overwhelmed by the amount of passion that this group has, and you know what, rightfully so. And
I know. We get a lot done once a month for 1 hour, don't we? It's crazy. And I just want to tell you, I love working with the whole committee, all of these people. We're all just, it's we working together for the city of Dunedin.
Okay, Commissioner DeGard, any questions, or? You know all about this, so, yeah, okay. Okay, I don't really have any additional questions. I probably have some comments. So we'll go to comments, which I'll start with Vice Mayor.
You guys are amazing. I just heard that.
Thank you.
Thank you for your focus. Thank you for your passion. I'm real excited about the outcome of this and what next steps, whether you have money or no money, those steps still need to be taken. So it's a matter of, as a community, knowing what those next steps are. And we all can't be surprised that you have an aging population with the baby boomers. We're all, right, just a big bubble. It's not just it's coming, it's here. So what can we do about it? So it's those next steps. And I also encourage you, within those next steps, don't try and do it by yourselves. I'm a real believer in, we've got how many churches, for example, in this area? And they should all be focused on community and how can they help and what is their role in all this. So there's lots of organizations that should be able to help us. PSTA, keep them in mind for transit and what we can do there. But thank you for what you do.
Mr. Sandbergen.
Yeah, I'll be anxious for you to keep us updated. I think a couple of things that really jumped out at me were the basics and food, concerns about food, and I think healthcare was on there too. Be interesting to see what you see, and then make sure you share it with us, that if anything we can do to help out. So, and then thank you for what you're doing for these folks.
Thank you.
That's all, Mayor.
Okay, Commissioner Walker.
Thank you, Mayor. I have nothing really more to add. I just love you guys, and this is our community at work. You guys are doing it. You guys are doing it. Thank you.
It's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
We always welcome friends of the committee.
Yes, we do.
Fourth Monday, she said.
Yeah, and sometimes we have a full house with friends, just friends from the committee coming in.
That's awesome. It's Commissioner DeGard, final comments?
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, you're right. They're beautiful, aren't they? They're beautiful people. They're doing wonderful work. Had the pleasure of working with them for the last year. We pulled on this about 16 different ways. We made sure it was right. I mean, I've never been corrected so many times in my life. But it's gotten to a point where we're going to have the data we need to intelligently address the issue, and I'm excited about that. Thank you, Mayor.
Yeah, and my final comment, well, I mean, everybody said they love you, so you know I love you. So, but no, seriously, I just think this is so important. You know, as someone, you know, my mom lived by herself until her last 20 months were at Meese Life, and you know, I kind of am like her. Like the social piece is blood to me. Like you know, you take that away, you know, you just shrivel up. And I think that it's so important to pull out the people that have that isolation going on. And I worry a little bit about, and you know, trying to figure out creative ways to get to them, because the ones who are the most isolated, you know, it's going to be hard to get the questionnaire to them. But, you know, even on voter rolls, you kind of know who's living by themselves and things like that. I mean, I saw it when I was walking houses during my campaign. You know, you'd have someone in there, you know, they wouldn't even be able to come to the door, but they'd kind of, you know, yell from inside. And, you know, they'd have a lot of stuff because I think they just were overwhelmed and older and they couldn't do a lot of stuff. So I think it's a very huge need to begin to really try to reach out and find out where these people are, who they are. And again, I think you plant the seed now, not just with the survey, but you get people talking, you get the buzz going. And some of those people that are most isolated, you know, people will say, hey, I know so-and-so who's on such and such a street, and boy, we need to try to work with that person. So it's very important, and it really is our community in action.
And the seed will grow, and we will learn, and churches, I didn't think of churches.
But anyway, you are following in the footsteps. A lot of people this has always been one of our most active committees, but you guys are just hitting it out of the ballpark. That's great.
I
Thank
know.
you.
Really doing a lot.
Mayor, I'm hearing consensus direction to move forward with the survey.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Overwhelmingly consensus direction.
Go forward, do good things.
All right, good.
Glad to see senior to senior started in Buffalo, New York, though. That was thank you. All right. Okay. Before you guys go, I didn't open it up for public comment. Does anyone in the public wish to come forward and speak to that issue? Seeing no one, I'll close public comment. Okay, just to make sure we don't leave anyone out. Okay, so we're going to go to our next item, and thanks again. Our next item is Sustainability Matrix Update, City of Dunedin Code of Ordinance, Section 105-28.4, and staff presentation is by Natalie. Natalie, you're keeping us on track here. Very good.
Thank you. Good morning, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager, and everyone joining us today. Natalie Gass, Sustainability Program Manager for the city. Here before you today is the progress we've been making in updating our sustainability matrix. The sustainability matrix is a requirement of design review. So for any project development projects that trigger design review, it also triggers the sustainability matrix. Typically, these are projects, residential projects that are 5 or more units, or commercial projects that are 6,000 square feet or larger. So they are targeting those larger type of development projects. The current matrix consists of 6 categories, including energy, recycling and waste reduction, urban nature, transportation, water, and additional strategies. The sustainability matrix was first discussed in 2015 and then officially adopted into our land development code in 2016. And it was amended in 2019 with a increase in points requirements to make it a little bit of a stronger document. So the purpose of this update is the intention is not really to strengthen the document. The intention was to create a more accurately tiered and weighed matrix that incentivizes points for projects and initiatives that are most impactful in a development project. Other things that we wanted to do was clarify points, explain what needs to be submitted for documentation, and then provide examples of that type of strategy, as well as provide for another exemption with the matrix, and I'll explain that in a minute. So with the update, we've added 20 new strategies. All of these strategies most of them have a tiered system of points, which allows developers to really right-size the strategy to their project. So as you scale up the size of the project, you can scale up the size of the points because you have a greater impact. We've also additionally added a category called Green Stormwater Infrastructure with a lot of new points, and again, tiering and weighing those points more heavily to really emphasize what has a bigger impact on the environment and how do we get development to focus on those things. We have added an additional exemption. So for any projects that are being certified with a third-party organization, LEED, Green Globes, Florida Green Building Coalition, or a similar certifying agency, that as long as the documentation and certification is submitted to city staff for review, and then with approval, they would be exempt from having to complete the matrix. We added this exemption because all of these third-party certifications, they are usually updated on a year-to-year basis. They have a lot of staff time that they put into looking at how do you increase points. And so those standards keep increasing more than what we'll see with something in our sustainability matrix. If you're doing that work, you're going above and beyond what our matrix is, and therefore it would kind of be a wash for that as an added exemption. So with the current version versus the proposed version, our goal was to, again, expand the range of points for developers, expand the amount of strategies and ways that people can incorporate sustainability and resilience into their project. And when you look at this, our intention was really to develop a matrix that was all-encompassing of these items. So our intention was to create one matrix and bring that forward to you. We started this before Senate Bill 180, and that has kind of come forward as something that would need to be addressed in terms of looking at this. When you see the matrix as a whole, it is not more restrictive, it is actually less. You're required to achieve less points overall. But when you go down to every single point and item and how it weighs to the greater total, it could be thought of as, or argued that it's more restrictive. And we've worked with Jennifer Cowan on this to really look at all the points. I appreciate all of your time and all of the redlining that you had to go through, because it was a lot. There's a lot of updates. A lot of people have put their work into this. But again, we want to make sure we comply with Senate Bill 180, and in order to do that, we have to figure out what that looks like. So if there's two paths forward, if we keep the current matrix and we also offer an updated matrix, which has a lot of incentives for developers to go after, we are having a hard time developing a single matrix that can comply with Senate Bill 180 and still addresses the reasons that we're updating it, which is to weigh the points correctly and update things. Any questions there before we move on?
When's the expiration of Senate Bill 180?
Jennifer? Be August of, or I'm sorry, October 1st of, I think, 2027.
So 2027.
Yeah, thank you.
And that's just for what's in there now. That's not if any intervening storms were to happen between now and then.
No, understood. No. Yeah. Okay. I'll keep my comments to myself after that, but, Nat, go ahead.
Do you want to continue and then
Yeah, go
answer
ahead
all the
and
questions
continue,
at
and then
the
we'll
end?
take
Okay.
questions, yeah.
Again, this document has been seen by many people, has been edited by many departments and divisions. So internally, our Division of Strategy and Sustainability, but also working with Public Works, Community Development, Parks and Recreation, and Engineering as well. We've also had external feedback from our Committee on Environmental Quality and Sustainability, our Pinellas FAST group, Faith and Action for Strength Together. They've been a huge proponent of creating and developing a green stormwater infrastructure section in the matrix, which is new. And then we have been receiving input from PSTA, and then are also in the process of receiving input from our local developers and property owners who have had to complete matrices in the past or have projects that require design review. Two additional program options that we could look at in the future that would allow us to expand this program and strengthen what's in the code is to, one, possibly develop a set of certification levels that encourages properties to go above the minimum, where we can award them with, silver, bronze, gold, and based on those levels, have different forms of recognition for the projects. Another option for the future to really look at the success of this holistically is to create a program where we would be educating on maintenance. And what we're kind of seeing is a developer and property owner can come in, they can select all these points, implement them into a design and a project for development. But a lot of these things, they take ongoing maintenance in order for them to actually be sustainable. How do you care for solar panels on your roof long term? How do you care for green infrastructure, bioswales, rain gardens? How do you care for the property that you're managing? And then when you look at some of these larger developments where property management may turn over frequently, that gets lost in translation over time. So this would be something additional. It would require more effort, more team, that we would have to kind of review our capacity to do that work. But maybe going out once a year and talking to the property, hey, do you know you have this on your site? Here's some education about how you maintain that. And just creating that conversation and openness about how you keep these things going long term. And then finally, we're here presenting to you today in order to, get consensus direction and understand how we move forward with the purpose of updating the matrix, but still comply with Senate Bill 180. We have the developer feedback underway and a tentative schedule for moving this forward with our land development code update. And I'll take questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Natalie. So questions, I'll start with Commissioner Walker.
Thank you, Mayor. What's not clear to me is, in your opinion, is it the Senate bill that is restricting our ability on the sustainability? What in your opinion, what is the most critical factor here in terms of adopting the more stringent requirements?
So because this document is a requirement of our design review, it's in our land development code, and we require projects of a certain size to complete it. With Senate Bill 180, from my understanding, and Jen, you can correct me, we cannot put into effect anything that is more restrictive. With the update, with the way that we have it written, some of those items have a greater weight out of the total. And that was done intentionally because it allows us to incentivize those more impactful items and strategies. But in turn, it will make some of the existing items weigh less. But that could be seen as more restrictive, as harder to complete the matrix if we just have one updated document.
Okay.
I don't know if I explained that well, or if you want to hop in.
No, I think you explained it very well. I mean, one of the things that we're dealing with is that this came into place, this restriction came into place by the legislature this past legislative session. It's retroactive and it continues for quite a while into the future. And it said nothing more restrictive or burdensome, but it didn't define those terms. It just said you cannot adopt or propose anything more restrictive or burdensome with your land development regulations as well as comp plan and other things. So in an effort to try to still move forward and encourage the type of activity that you're looking to encourage, but without the risk of potentially being seen as more restrictive or burdensome, develop that kind of two-system approach so that they can, it's their option. They can choose to go under the old or go under the new and have a lot more options available to them.
Okay. I'm sure I have more questions, but I'm going to pass because I want to hear the other questions first. Thanks.
Okay. Commissioner DeGard, questions?
Thank you, Mayor. I think we're trying to get our arms around this a little bit. Is this being driven by state legislation at this time? Is that what our revision is about right now?
No, so the revision was initiated before anything with Senate Bill 180. The intention, again, was to clarify what's in the matrix and more correctly weigh the points. In the current matrix, you can look at an item or a strategy that is extremely impactful, extremely expensive to implement, and it's less points than something else that is not as impactful, or so the points are not correctly weighed right now. And then we also want to clarify, how do you go about these points? What do you need to submit? So a lot of it is around clarification and more clearly weighing the points. That was the intention of the update.
Okay, good. We are using two terms here, and I want to be sure I parse them out a little bit. We're using matrix and scorecard. Are we moving to scorecard or keeping what's the story there?
So I was proposing a scorecard, sustainable development scorecard. If we venture with two paths forward, that could be a way to differentiate one versus the other. But that's still kind of open to discussion.
Okay, I particularly like scorecard over matrix. Matrix is not as easy to get your arms around, so just if my voice has any input. As this is, our target population for this is our businesses and our community in general, is that correct?
So it's any project that triggers design review. Again, those are the larger development projects, residential projects that are 5 or more units, so condos, multifamily properties, and then any commercial units that are 6,000 square feet or larger. I know there's other stipulations, but those are the two kind of main ones that pop out in my mind. So it does target the larger forms of development in our community.
So this is limited into the development arena only, or can it be applied to the general population as well?
So this is just for development.
Okay. All right.
Under design review. It's a component of the design review process.
And I can see this has a multiple set of desired outcomes. What would you say the 3 most important desired outcomes you'd want to see in this?
For the update?
Yep.
Again, what I've mentioned, the purpose of it, the purpose of clearly weighing the points. We want to incentivize, encourage developers to pick the strategies that are the most impactful for our environment. We want to, secondly, have a lot more options. Since 2019, since the last update, and really the update in 2019 was more about increasing the point minimums. So this really hasn't been updated since 2016. And since 2016, a lot has happened and shaped our thought process in the world of development for a lot of new creative strategies, and we want to include those into the document, but also provide for a way that we can encourage development projects to go above what we're requiring And that higher tier of looking at a third-party certification, which they're updating things every single year. They include all those new strategies. I don't see this as something that we're going to be updating in our land development code every single year. That's not feasible for us, and but it allows for kind of these different components that we're encouraging, but again, not making it more restrictive.
Thank you for the clarity. That's all I have.
Vice Mayor, questions?
Thank you, Mayor. Natalie, I'm going to take a step back and ask you why we do this at all. I mean, what happens if the developer says, I don't want to do the scorecard, the matrix? Can it still go forward, or does this only benefit, or is there a stick and a carrot, or only carrots?
I would say both.
Okay.
So part of the design review process, if your project triggers design review, it triggers a set of requirements that you have to achieve in order to move forward with the project. The sustainability matrix is just one of those items. So there's a long list that you have to do to keep the project moving forward. So it's the stick in the way that it is required, but the carrot is in the way that there's flexibility within the matrix or the scorecard. There is a lot of new strategies. So it's kind of both, but it is a requirement. You can't move forward unless you complete it, yeah.
And it's triggered by design review, which is triggered by the number of units or the square footage of the project.
Or there are certain zones, and I can't remember them, but.
And those number of units and that square footage, is that state law, county law? Is that our own ordinance that triggers that?
Is our own? Okay, thank you. That's city.
It's city, okay. So we're the ones that decide that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we could go down to 1 unit and everybody'd have to go through design review, right?
Right.
Okay, but the commission doesn't want to look at every house that needs to be built in the city. So I understand that. With regards to separate lists, is there a reason why and you might have said it and I missed it, is there a reason why we didn't just expand the list we had and then adjust the points? Why didn't we just go with one list?
So we developed one list,
Okay.
and it's running into issues with Senate Bill 180. That's the problem.
How?
So when you increase your strategy, we added 20 new strategies.
Right.
And then we weighed certain strategies more heavily. Right now, those points are sometimes, not always, outweighing the points in the current version. And therefore, if you pick the same 5 or 10 strategies from the current version, you may not meet exactly the same number of points percentage-wise in the new version, and it could be considered burdensome. But the entire purpose of updating it was to weigh the points more correctly, and I created a big spreadsheet to kind of calculate all these different things. If you try to equally weigh the same strategies from the current to the proposed, your whole matrix gets out of balance. And now you're giving 240 points for a solar heated pool, and then you still have the other items that are lower. But then if you increase those, it increases the total, and then it's a reoccurring, it kind of feeds into itself of being out of balance if you try to make it equal but updated. It's very challenging to explain. I have a whole spreadsheet. I don't want to show you the spreadsheet because it's very overwhelming.
Okay.
But we're in a challenging situation.
When the state gets in the middle of our business. This is what, let's just say.
It's a challenging situation,
That's
but
where you guys can help us with the state. FAST needs to help us with the state, because this is nuts.
It's not a hopeless situation, and I don't think it's something that needs to hold us back from moving forward. We just need to move forward in a creative way that allows us to do what we want to do, but not risk anything. And then in the future, this could be looked at, as maybe we remove the old version or we look at it again. But in the current situation that we're in, this is the best that we can offer at the moment.
Something comes from the legislature that is vague and uncertain? That's crazy.
Mayor, Mayor, may I?
Yes, please.
So,
You're going to clarify it all? It's going to be
yeah,
crystal
no,
clear?
Natalie's doing a
Okay.
great job. I'll just mess that up. So, yeah. But we hear from Casey Cook, who's the Executive Director of National League of Cities, right? And he's also the liaison to my professional association, that they are probably looking at the next legislative session to clarify Senate Bill 180 in terms of the definition of what is burdensome
Yes.
and what is not. So I think that this is going to help us a lot with our matrix, and hopefully we can come back to you in spring and go back to one matrix. But this is a way to continue to move forward with our sustainability efforts in the city and not get into trouble with Senate Bill 180. So we've got, both of these two are happy, so.
I mean, would we be able to put together some type of a letter that we could give to a group like FAST, you know, who's really in favor of all this because it's good for the community overall, that would help us, that they could actually send to their representatives and senators and say, you know, I'd be very nice, this is why this is important to make this adjustment. And then, I mean, if you guys are willing, I think that would really help to get us all where we're trying to be.
Yeah.
So.
I think we do.
Right, Casey's Florida League of Cities, sorry, not Natalie.
Yeah, Florida, I knew what you meant, so. Okay, yeah, anyway. So, yeah, so Natalie, if you can kind of work and make sure that happens, because I think, you know, if they hear it from citizens versus just us, they'll understand it's important.
Okay. And I'll mention one more thing about starting with two paths forward. It also does kind of ease us into the new matrix. It welcomes it. I get to, you know, at the DRC meetings where we talk through the development projects with the developers and the property owners, I'm able to say, here's our new scorecard. Here's all the ways that it's beneficial for you and increases sustainability on your project. But really, it's a benefit to the developer when they can see the number of strategies that are new, they can see the exemption, they can see the points are weighed more accurately. When they do these initiatives into their project, they're getting more points for doing the things that really matter. And that was the whole intention. So I think it also kind of eases us into, we're transitioning, and maybe that's a benefit as well.
You're very kind. Thank you, though. Where were we? Commissioner Sandberg, or were you done yet?
Was I done?
I don't know. Were you done?
Yeah, no.
Okay, go ahead.
I wanted to clarify whether I was done or not. I don't know.
No. I mean, if you have other questions.
I do,
Okay,
actually.
go
Oh, he
ahead.
is done.
Yeah.
Yeah, in that case, you are done now.
And just to clarify, is this like menu A or menu B? That the developers, they can't mix and match? Soup
Right,
and-
it's
soup and
one or
salad?
the other.
It's one or the other?
When you pick one, that's your track that you pursue, but you have the option.
Okay.
Yeah.
And for what we currently have right now, without these changes, are we grandfathered in as far as Senate Bill 180? Or can somebody just say this entire matrix is burdensome
No, I think that's.
as it stands now?
No, so the original matrix that's in
Right.
your code, you're fine with that. That was in place before Senate Bill
So it's
180.
grandfathered in?
So it's grandfathered in.
Okay, all right.
Yep.
Just
Okay.
clarification, that we're talking about the current.
The current matrix that
Okay.
exists in your code today. And then
Okay.
this new one would provide an option. It's not a mandatory, but you could use either the current one, or you could use this new scorecard that would provide additional options to you.
And as wonderful as we think these new items are, because of 180, is there any developer that would take a look at those new items? Just yes or no? You don't need-
So in terms of, for feedback for this?
Yeah, then people go, oh, I like this new version, I'll go here.
So we have sent it to a list of developers and property owners to receive feedback. We're underway with that. So the way, but also in the meetings, when we're talking about the requirements that a developer has to meet for their project, them having a sustainability matrix, that is a requirement that stays. Now you have options, and in the meeting and verbally, but also in the written documentation we send to the developer, I get to express all the benefits of option B. You're welcome to pick either one. Here's all the benefits, and then they get to make that decision.
And when it comes to the exceptions, the LEED, the Green Globes, of that nature, have we compared the requirements of receiving those certifications to these lists? And is there anything in there to go, well, it's less burdensome to go LEED, I'll just go LEED and screw your list? Because it seems to me we're letting the LEED certifications, and I'm using LEED as an example for all of them.
For all, yeah.
Right. We're letting them drive the train as opposed to if you do this stuff with us, oh, look, you can also get the LEED certification. But we're letting the LEEDs, because if the LEED is the lower hanging fruit, then why wouldn't the developer just go with that and not do anything of our matrices?
So the way that these certifying agencies are currently, their lists are more burdensome to achieve. So if they achieve that, then they're already above our matrix or our scorecard. But the way that it's written is that it has to have, city staff, that has to be authorized. They can't just say, oh, I found this organization and I submitted for this, and maybe it has to be an accredited, it has to be similar or above our matrix. And if that ever changes, so if Florida Green Building Coalition or LEED, or if they ever change their requirements, we can stay on top of that to say, this no longer applies. So there's still the need of justification for if they're choosing the exemption, that we get to kind of select if it makes sense for the matrix, but it allows them something else if they want to do that.
So they can't come to us with some certification, I got 5 popcorn kernels.
Yep.
Right, okay. That is all that I have. Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Sandberg.
So if we have a developer come to town, and let's say they're the southeast region, every building they build is exactly the same. Is this mandatory or voluntary that they participate in that program?
It's mandatory if their project triggers design review.
Okay, in this case.
Just like any of the other requirements under design review are required.
Okay, and this one, where I was going is it definitely would. So the developer's going to score his own building, set up his own points. And I know someone in the city, how are you going to break out who's going to go in and verify the points that he or she has assigned themselves?
That's a great question. And that's part of the updated matrix or the scorecard, is that we look at 3 different phases. So phase 1 is that initial conversation. They look at the scorecard, they look at all their options, and they kind of pick and choose what direction they want to go in. From there, they go to phase 2, where they'll start submitting their site plans, architecture plans, to show that they are designing the project with these strategies in place. Some of these things you can't wait till the last minute. There's low-hanging fruit of pet waste stations and cigarette butt containers. Those can be last minute, that's not a problem. But for other things, for stormwater, for solar and clean energy, those things need to be implemented in the beginning. They need to be part of the design. So that's phase 2, is ensuring the strategies that you've selected are in your design. Phase 3 is the documentation or the proof of points. So they'll submit their invoices for the products that they've purchased, any invoices for work of installation of these strategies, pictures, and then usually we'll go out and do like a site visit.
Okay.
And anything that hasn't been checked off already through the proof of points phase 3 section would be completed at a site visit.
So could the developer, versus the inspection, could they lose points, gain points? I mean,
So they can, I'm happy to be flexible within the scorecard. If they say, we were originally planning on doing this, that's not seeming to work, now we're going to take these points instead. That's completely fine. The requirement is that they hit their base minimum points and that they complete the matrix. So they have to complete it. They have to complete it with a minimum, but they have flexibility within that and through the process, because things come up in construction. We thought we were going to be able to do this, and, they have the flexibility.
So going forward, is there ever a time that somebody could lose? We have solar panels today. They blew off the roof. They're too expensive. Are there any setbacks or any
So
punishment?
that's a good question. This is a requirement for the project to be complete and for them to get their certificate of occupancy. We're not really enforcing this down the road. So down the road, we haven't really developed anything like that in our land development code to enforce that long term. But again, that's where we were speaking to a program where we could have education, ongoing education, to encourage and help the success of these strategies long term, that people know how to maintain them and how to use them as the property owner.
Since you have your thinking cap on, there's 3 of those examples that I just wondered what they were. I learned yesterday what bioswale was, thanks to someone sitting up here. How do you mitigate noise pollution? What would you suggest someone do?
So noise pollution, we have an added strategy for that, looking at 2 different sides of it. The noise that's created during construction, so changing their schedules to align, so it's more during the middle of the day when there's the most amount of noise. And then also there's products that you can put into place on a construction site to mitigate noise. Secondly, you can go in and look at long-term solutions for the actual development project. Those are included in the matrix, in the scorecard, under the additional strategies. So we have all of our categories, and then we have one that kind of is a catch-all for all the other items, and that is something that was added as an option. Again, they would have to pick that we're not requiring any specific items within the scorecard, but we're requiring the scorecard to be complete with a minimum set of points.
One that was added is for blue roof. When I hear blue roof, I think of tarps. What is a blue roof credit?
So Blue Roof is focused on stormwater. It's where you are gathering water from rain or a storm and holding it so then it can slowly trickle back into the system versus a traditional roof that is gushing the water out quickly alongside the storm.
Well, I didn't know that existed, but that was all my questions. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Natalie. Very good.
Yeah.
Cool. Sure, go ahead.
All right, so just to confirm here, so by consensus direction today, you're looking for consensus direction to either go forward with the proposed scorecard or not, right?
With the two versions, the 2 paths forward, where we keep the current, we have an optional second option. I get to explain and share why that's so beneficial for the developers, but that's currently our only way forward under Senate Bill 180. So yes, direction on that.
Okay. And regarding the second path on the proposed scorecard, we still don't have a good feeling whether that satisfies Senate Bill 180. Is that true?
So if we have the option of a developer can pick or choose one or the other,
Okay.
it does satisfy that.
Okay, so that was my third question. The developer would have a choice between the 2 different scorecards.
Yes.
Okay, sorry, I'm slow on the uptake on this today.
It's okay.
And finally, our original goal here was to get this, solidified or codified by the end of the year. And it looks like, we'll be in the second, based on your schedule here, looks like sometime in January.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And then finally, at which point, looking at next steps, is this going to be, besides the fact we're going to get developer feedback and input, which is underway, do we take this before a state review or anything to that effect?
So as it's a land development code update, it does have the requirements of the LPA presentation, which is scheduled and then the 2 hearings back here before all of you. So the first and second hearing.
Okay. All right, I'm clear. Thanks.
Okay, so I'm going to ask my questions, and I think there's a couple more floating out here. So so is our intention that when Senate Bill 180 either gets changed or expires, that we're going to go strictly to the second matrix?
Yes.
And we'll be ready to act quick, right?
Yes.
Okay. That's first. My second question is more for Jennifer. Jennifer, sometimes I'm not always positive that that cutoff of 5 units is the right number, because, I see the developers when they'll purposely always pick 4 to stay out of design review. Do you have a sense of that? I mean, is it strict enough? And I guess we can change it right now anyway, but
I think it's strict enough. I think also a lot of times when it's 4 units, we will ask them to go to architectural review, and they will voluntarily go to architectural review. So I haven't seen it to be damaging, in my opinion. It still is rather, it's still pretty low density and a lot of lots, 5 units. So I don't think that there's a problem with that myself. As I said, traditionally, we make them go through some sort of a aesthetic review for the property. So, and a lot of times they're voluntarily doing a lot of sustainability as well on their property, since I think that it makes it more marketable for a lot of developers.
The property, I'm not going to use names, at Skinner and Broadway, that's just changed hands, they avoided, they purposely tried to avoid design review, right? So they downsized the project somehow?
Oh,
The one that
I
just
know
got-
what you want. Yes, they were under the threshold, and that's commercial.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. Anyway, that's just something I want to keep an eye on.
But I do think also, though, sorry for interrupting, Mayor, that did go through architectural review originally, despite the fact that they were under the threshold.
Got it, okay. What I would really be curious about is if you went through this matrix and scored this city hall, what our score would be. Can you go through that
Stellar.
exercise at some point?
Stellar.
No, I mean, I think
think
it
we
would
got
be
3
worth
Green
doing.
Globes,
No,
though.
people are always
3,
like,
right?
oh, we want to live what we say, too. So
Yeah.
I'm just curious to see what our score would be.
Well, we did get 3, on our sustainability scorecard, we did get 3 Green Globes for this building, which is
We did,
exceptional.
Right.
Yeah.
Would certainly, I think, translate to a great score, but I was just curious. That would be kind of interesting, so. Okay, I think I have, before I go to public comment, I think I have a quick question over here. Vice Mayor?
I do, Mayor, real quickly, and thank you for your last question, because actually that was going to be one of mine. But Jennifer, you mentioned that under 5, a lot of them go to architectural review anyway. How does architectural review correlate to the sustainability scorecard?
Well, that's a good question. It doesn't.
Right,
So
okay,
architectural
okay.
review is more obviously about the way that it looks. But I do think that, as I said, a lot of them are incorporating a lot of these practices to begin with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, because I too have seen a lot of developers that seem to be going to 4 when they could go 5, but they are purposely avoiding this. So
Which is
I'd be in
actually-
favor of discussion
Right.
and over whether or not we can move that from 5 to 4. But that's more of a comment. My next question is what are the penalties of Senate Bill 180?
So it provides an opportunity, or it provides an avenue, I should say, for a developer to come in and challenge under the Senate Bill 180, saying that it is more restrictive. It would be litigation, and then if they're successful, they would get their attorney's fees.
Oh, and you guys are expensive.
And then they still wouldn't have to do it, so.
You still wouldn't have to do it. Well, yeah, but then that's just more of a personal comment, but that's what drives me crazy with the legislature. They put these laws in there, but then they don't really provide guidance, and it's all to threaten small towns. And that's not the way government should be run.
And I'm sorry.
I'm the Florida City
Commissioner,
Government
I'm so
Week.
sorry, or Vice Mayor, I just wanted to also say, and then if they were successful, there would also be an injunction that would be brought again, that would be against the city, saying that you cannot enforce. So Just wanted to let you know there's one more thing, that it's worse, yeah. One
Okay.
more thing that would happen.
We won't tell you what the penalty, we won't tell the penalties are, but if you violate them, we will hit you with a very big bat.
Yes.
Nice, nice. Oh, is there any way that this matrix can run with the land?
Run with the land?
So that if it changes hands, that the requirement that they chose with this matrix
So
have to continue?
it-
So
it's-
that it helps with maintenance, that helps with change in ownership?
It's part of the approval. So it's part of the initial approval in order to be able to use it in that way and to construct that facility on that piece of property.
Right.
So just like any other site plan approval, you have to be in conformance with it.
Well, at the time it's built, right, but, and you go through that, and you're a wonderful steward of our land. And so you go through all that, and then you sell it to me, and I don't give a rat's butt. So I get rid of my bioswale, I get rid of my solar, I get rid of, because nothing requires me to do that. But if you have the matrix that has to stay with the land,
But-
when you sell it to me, I have to maintain that.
So you would end up in code enforcement for doing that because you'd be in violation of your site plan approval. You as the second.
Okay, so it does.
It does run with the land.
So it does run with the
Yes.
land?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
Thank you for clarifying and answering.
There we go. Thank you. That's what I was looking for. Okay, so we do have a little bit of a carrot there. So it is just, and thank you for your conversation.
That's a stick, I think.
Is that a stick?
That's a stick. That's
It's
not
my
the carrot.
It's my carrot.
That's a
It's my
stick.
carrot.
Depends on who you
The one
ask.
Code
in your
enforcement
eye.
is a stick.
The rest are comments, so thank you, Mayor, for allowing me that.
Absolutely. And I know, anybody else on, Commissioner Guard seemed to have one quick one, too.
Yeah, all right. So the developer can choose which one of the versions they wish to use until this is resolved with the state. Is that
Yes.
correct? In that application process, if they get a score that's below the minimum on the selection they made, they won't get through development, right? Got it. Just want to be sure.
Okay. All right, Commissioner Walker.
Well, let me ask this. So is there any benefit in not giving them a choice? Or is it more of a detriment because we're going forward on two different paths that hasn't really been, the limitations, the criteria has not been resolved by the state?
So we'd prefer to have a single scorecard matrix for, just because it's more clear to just have one path. Here's what you're required to do, here's what you need to do. Having the two paths is the option that we see as a feasible route forward under this Senate bill. So looking at this more under this light, we're doing it this way. If we're out of that, maybe we can look at just one.
Got it. Okay, thanks.
Okay, so I'm going to, you good? Good. Okay, I'm good too, so I'm good too. All right, so we're going to go to public comment. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to come forward and speak on this issue? Okay, name and address for the record and 3 minutes. Hi.
Good morning. I'm Linda Mifsud, and I'm with the First United Methodist Church of Dunedin. We're at 421 Main Street. I'm also with a group that you mentioned earlier, FAST, Faith in Action and Strength Together. We have a few of our folks here today. Would you please stand? Not as many as you have seen in the past. One of our members came here and saw the fire department vehicles and thought the building must have been on fire, so I'm hoping that no one else left. But I'm here to talk to you about the item on this agenda for the sustainability scorecard now. We're changing our language to. We support the sustainability scorecard and the inclusion specifically of green stormwater infrastructure measures by the City of Dunedin. We had a workshop in 2024, and we were so glad to see so many people from Dunedin attend that workshop and get the good information. We are very concerned about water quality and flooding in our communities. And we were very happy to see you move forward and take a leadership role in this. No one has come up with this yet. We commend Natalie's proactive approach to this, and we were very happy with it prior to some of the changes that were made. We understand the reason she's made lemonade is what she's done. She's done a very good job of trying to move forward with this. We understand the language is just prohibitive, and it's an attack on your home rule constitutional rights. And there is a lawsuit that is underway as we speak. There are 25 counties and cities that are challenging this. They happen to be in the Treasure Coast, South Florida, and the Orlando area. And the Orlando area worked 8 years coming up with their Vision 2050 for their long-term plan. The state told them that certain sections of this, which were more restrictive and burdensome, were no longer legal. They were null and void. And that is what the state can do. They can determine that your land use development code change is null and void. We were hoping that you could have one matrix. We really support one matrix. We understand why you don't. We do hope this egregious error in this challenge of the home rule constitutional right for our cities and counties will be changed. We hope that that's the case. We think that the all-category approach is much better. You need to get points in all categories. We like that approach. We understand why that is difficult. We also like the weighted point system that she has come up with. And we think that is a good way forward in the interim. But I will tell you, we have really enjoyed working with Natalie. I will tell you that you have our full support for the updated matrix, and we will be continuing to work with you. We're glad to help you with the challenge that you had mentioned earlier. We're here to collaborate with you until the job is done, and the job is not done, in our opinion, until you have one matrix, one scorecard.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Very impressed how on top of things you are, too.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate that. That's so helpful. Okay, anyone else in the audience wish to come forward and speak on this issue? Okay, seeing none, we will move forward with final comments, and I will turn to Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. You know, I don't look forward to the time when we have one matrix. If these certifications, LEED, Florida Green Building Coalition, et cetera, are the higher standard, I look for a time when we don't have our matrix anymore, that we can just say you need to be certified to build here. I think that would just be wonderful. I'd like to thank FAST for showing up this morning. Thank you all for being in the House. Frustrated at Senate Bill 180. But if we're doing whatever we can, I like the phrase, we're making lemonade, and I'm assuming the lemon is 180, Senate Bill 180. But Natalie, we can't thank you enough. Thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing Dunedin. You consistently move us forward, so thank you for everything that you do.
Okay, Commissioner Sandbergen, final comments?
Not much other than very supportive as long as city attorney and everything is in agreement and understood and we're doing things correctly. I'm definitely in support of it. Thank you, Natalie.
And Commissioner Walker?
Thank you, Mayor. Natalie, I just want to say thank you for really approaching this from a much more pragmatic and insightful way, because this is a confusing topic, and we have an uncertain environment with state, and going forward with two different scorecards right now is I understand that path. What that shows to me is you're fighting the good fight, and appreciate that. I too, and thank you, FAST, for being in chamber today. It's really great to see you guys, and I also am of the opinion that our job's not done until we have one scorecard, and I know we will get there, and I know having you at the helm is exactly the way we're going to do that. So I'm very impressed, Natalie. Thank you.
Appreciate it, thank you.
And you just can't wait until you're up in front of a couple hundred FAST members again, right?
That
Signing
was,
your life away?
That was an amazing experience. Thank you, thank you.
That it is. Commissioner Dugard.
Thank you, Mayor. When I first read this, I didn't understand it. I sat here, and I'm not sure I understand it yet, but its confusion is associated with changing winds relative to this particular sustainability issue from two different perspectives. That happens all too frequently. And then we have to scramble. It's unfortunately something that staff has to deal with, and thank you for dealing with it. I think we're holding our breath until this Senate bill is resolved, and then I worry about things if it's not. That being said, this looks like a good patch until then. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Well, I'm very, very supportive of this, and yes, I totally wish we were going with one. You know, I was going to start out my questioning before thinking of Senate Bill 180 of just, have we challenged developers enough? Is the point total that you have to get to enough? But we're in a little different world right now, but I do think we should be ready for when it changes or expires, that we can get our one in there and make sure we're on top of it. I think, appreciate the comments by FAST about the productivity for Dunedin to be on top of it. I think it's so important. Unrelated to this is our rebate program that we do now. And as somebody who just got back into their house, just ready to landscape, and you know, my landscape guy knew immediately about the city's program and how by doing kind of native plantings you could get, you know, reimbursements and rebates. So, but again, I think this is the same vein, being proactive with developers. I think it's smart business for them anyway. But again, being ahead of it and requiring it and making sure we're moving this forward, I think it's just very important. So I'm very supportive. And again, I also want to thank FAST for being here. And I do. I was impressed that you're on top of that issue as much as you are, because I just think like there's a lot of things that the state does get into home rule, and the average citizen doesn't really understand how it hampers what they want us to do here locally, and then it ties our hands. So I really appreciate that a lot, and look forward to continuing to work with you on that. But Natalie, you know, you're amazing. So you just are amazing, and you do such a great job for us. So really appreciate that. So I think you guys have your consensus direction, right? Thank you. Oh, go ahead.
Can I just say one other thing? And I should have mentioned it earlier, but just with regard to Natalie's effort, and when we were talking about Senate Bill 180, she had like a Herculean effort to try to go through this and figure out where we were, where there could be problems, and we worked together. And I mean, I just can't thank her enough.
Yeah. Kudos,
Thank you.
kudos.
Thank
Good.
you. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll go on to the next item then. Thanks that I'd like a lot again, Natalie. And Nicole, keep doing your thing up there in Tallahassee. Help us. Okay, we're going to go to City Commission review of the city multimodal transportation plan, including bicycle and pedestrian updates. And we're going to go with staff presentation. I'll turn it over, I guess, to George and Kathy.
Hi.
Kathy.
Thank you for having us. I'm Kathy Gadamer. I'm the Community Development Project Manager. And today I'm here with Hannah Schaefer and Trevor Poole, and they are our consultants for the update to the multimodal transportation plan, which was adopted back in 2020. This project was a BPI project that went through a fiscal year 2025 budget process and was approved by the commission. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. One of the purposes of this project was to update the bicycle master plan, which was heard way back in 2011, and incorporate into the new, expand the network, the multimodal network, as well as develop streetscape standards. So I'm going to turn it over to Hannah and Trevor, and they can answer any questions. Thank you.
Great, welcome.
Thanks, Kathy. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, thank you for having us today. We're really excited to present this to you, hear your feedback and guidance moving forward in this process. So I know Kathy kind of summarized for the purpose of this plan update. This is updating the 2022 citywide multimodal master plan. As we know, trends change within transportation as projects are completed. That requires us to update the plan and identify new projects and opportunities. And another purpose of this project was to incorporate everything that is in the 2011 Bike Ped master plan, so that way all the multimodal plans are in one place and it's one guiding document for the city. And as I mentioned, we really focus on updating strategies and recommendations to reflect current needs, challenges, and opportunities within the city. And then developing the streetscape standards was a big addition as part of this project as well. So we kicked off this project in the spring, really looking at which policies and recommendations we may need to update given current trends or existing conditions. And throughout this process, we've had several engagement efforts, and also developing the streetscape design standards was one of the big pieces, in utilizing the existing conditions information and community engagement responses to update the recommendations within the plan. So we'll talk a little bit more about these in the presentation today. I'm going to turn it over to Trevor to talk about our existing conditions update for the plan.
Thanks, Hannah. To start off this plan, we did look at the existing multimodal network throughout the entire city. So just a few takeaways from this map here. What stands out the most is, of course, the Pinellas Trail. It runs the entire length of the city.
Is your microphone on?
Thank you. Here I am.
Okay, good. There you go. All right.
So to start out, you'll see the Pinellas Trail runs the entire length of the city and is really a multimodal anchor for the rest of the system. Something we saw was the sidewalk network. It's really well connected and tight-knit throughout the downtown area and south of downtown. And as you move further outside of downtown, you'll see some disconnectivity there. And lastly, the bike network is fairly strong on state and county roads with bike facilities on street, although it lacks north of Skinner Boulevard, and it lacks some of those connections to the Pinellas Trail as a whole. I'll move on to the next slide. So also to start off, we analyzed some crash data to figure out where the challenges were in the multimodal network, where these hotspots were, and how we can better make really meaningful change to some of these high crash locations. So from the previous plan, we did update the data to have a 5-year crash analysis from 2019 to 2023. You'll see the total crashes were just over 2,500, which is a decrease from when we last analyzed this data. Furthermore, fatal and serious injury crashes did decrease, although you do see a fairly high number through this 5-year analysis. And pedestrian crashes did increase in this 5-year data compared to the last plan. You'll notice that there are clusters of crashes at key intersections, mainly state roads, county roads, these roadways with high volume and high speeds. So looking at intersection improvements along these roadways was really pivotal for this study. And then lastly, we've heard this a lot, and Hannah will talk about it a little more, but e-bike safety was a main concern in our community engagement and something we really wanted to highlight in this plan. So I'll turn it over to Hannah to discuss this.
Yeah, there's only so much that our data can show us about what opportunities or challenges there are occurring within the multimodal network. So that's where community engagement is really key for us to form those recommendations and opportunities and address those concerns and challenges. So we had several types of engagement for people to interact with us and for us to receive feedback. We had an online interactive map and survey. Hopefully you all saw this and took this. We had over 700 responses, which is pretty incredible. So people were able to go to this interactive map, identify certain issues on the multimodal network or safety or opportunities that they saw. So it really visually gives us an idea of where these hotspot opportunities or challenges are, but also allows people to identify bicycle networks or pedestrian networks that they would like to see in the community. So it's very helpful for us. We also did an in-person event at the St. Patrick's Day Festival, so we got a lot of feedback from residents, visitors, people of all ages about their current challenges and opportunities they saw in the city. And we also had several stakeholder engagement meetings. So we went to the Public Safety Committee. We talked with the committee members, and also the fire and police departments were there. So we were able to talk to them about what multimodal improvements we could make on the city's street networks that doesn't impact EMS response times but also increasing, safety on our streets and slowing cars down as well. So that was really beneficial for us to hear from them what some of the opportunities are. And then we also attended the Fort Pinellas Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee. So that was a more focused conversation about pedestrian and bicycle improvements and the Pinellas Trail. And I think when we do community engagement, we always tend to focus on, what are the challenges or the things that we can fix within the community. But I do want to mention there are so many positive things about Dunedin's multimodal network right now. We received a lot of positive feedback about people who love to come here, to walk around, to bike, to spend time in, because you all do have a really good network in place. So it's really looking at where are those problem areas or things that we can really improve and take the city to the next level. And some of the main things we heard, not a surprise, is e-bike safety. That was probably the number one thing we heard through our interactions with community members and the online survey, is concerns for e-bikes, especially on the Pinellas Trail, but also on city streets as well. A lot of concern about intersection safety and safer crossings, especially at those major roadways. The Curlew and US Alt 19 intersection is a major, we received a lot of comments about that because there's a lot of conflicts. You have pedestrians, bicyclists, vehicles, a lot of traffic at that one location. And I'm going to turn it over to Trevor to talk about the updates to the plan. This is where we take all of our feedback that we've heard from the community and our analysis and really put it into action.
Yeah, thanks, Anna. So this slide just represents a broad overview of some of those text updates that you'll see in the plan. Of course, the introduction was updated with further background on previous efforts that Dunedin has made. Section 2, the crash data, of course, was updated, which I explained. Section 3, the community outreach was a big portion of this update because if you recall, the previous plan was done during COVID, so we really couldn't get out into the community like we wanted to. So we really made an effort to do that this time around. Section 4, the strategies and actions section. These strategies and actions are separated by mode of transportation. So you'll see a lot of updated strategies and actions to reflect new travel behavior among the community, especially e-bikes. Section 5, of course, is the addition of an entire section in the streetscape design standards, which we'll get into a little bit later. And then Section 6 is just the next steps in conclusion, namely grant funding. We've updated some grant sources and some things that the city can go after in the future. So the overall strategies and actions section, we've highlighted some main updates within this section here. So first, partnerships we see as a really valuable opportunity for the city to attack some of these problem areas in conjunction with county efforts, in conjunction with state efforts, where some of these high crash locations are. So we made that a real effort to go forward with some of those partnerships. Furthermore, we have some traffic calming measures that we've recommended along the trail. So again, these happen in conjunction with the sheriff's office, with schools, with education. So we've included that into the overall strategies and actions. And then lastly, just providing more opportunities for micro-mobility options, e-scooters, golf carts, bike rentals. So we've kind of updated that and revamped it to reflect some of those new travel patterns that we're seeing.
So one of the biggest additions to this plan was the chapter for the streetscape design standards. And the intent of this is to really have consistent multimodal networks throughout the city and being able to visually identify what that looks like and providing guiding dimensions and facility types for those different facilities. So what we did was we assigned 6 street types throughout every street within the city. So this includes state and county roadways as well. So that way the city can communicate should there be improvements through FDOT or the county that this is what you all would like this to look like. So this is showing an example of the downtown core street types. You'll see within this chapter, we include a rendering which identifies where these different zones are that we're applying those dimensions and facility types. So we have the pedestrian zone that really shows the sidewalk area and the baseline kind of minimum widths we would like to see, and then also the preferred, should you have the right-of-way space to do that. And then we have the amenity zone. This is where you could have street furniture, landscaping, trees, bike racks, depending on the context in the city. Obviously, residential streets might just only have landscaping or street trees in these areas, whereas the more urban areas would have more of those street furniture amenities. And then we also included on-street parking, what that looks like depending on the context. And then should there be a bicycle facility, what that recommended facility would be and kind of what that baseline minimum would be as well. Then also looking at the roadway, what those preferred widths are. As we know, wider lane widths do promote speeding. So on certain roadways, you want narrower travel lanes to reduce those speeds, especially in those residential in downtown neighborhoods. And this is an excerpt from the chapter as well, so it's really just further identifying what these options are. We know that every street is different. It's really hard to lay general standards throughout the entire city, recognizing there might be right-of-way challenges, other constraints that we haven't foreseen. So really providing some options and trying to identify what that vision is for that street type. So the next steps in this process, we'll take your feedback here today, make updates to the plan, and Kathy mentioned she will be sharing the updated plan with the different city committees for any final feedback before taking this to city commission approval in December. And with that, we'll take any questions, comments from you all.
Okay, I guess I'll start with Commissioner Walker.
Well, I think the update was pretty comprehensive. I don't know that I have any questions. Probably more comments, so I'll pass to my colleague here.
Okay, Commissioner DeGard.
Thank you for your presentation. How many modes of transportation are there? We use the word multimodal, and it's a big badge over a lot of stuff. I'd like to know how many modes of transportation there are.
I can't think of a number, but what we're talking about when we say multimodal, it's walking, biking, could be rolling people using wheelchairs or strollers, vehicles, obviously, public transit, even the micro-mobility that we talked about.
What's a vehicle? Define vehicle for me.
So it could be personal vehicle, like your own personal car, and freight traffic as well. That would be a separate vehicle.
So we have self-powered bicycles, and then we have assisted-powered bicycles. Are they in the same category?
We haven't separated them into vehicles. We are lumping that into, for this plan, bicycles. So our e-bike recommendations are included in the bicycle section.
One of the biggest difficulties we have here in Dunedin is the fact that there are pedestrians who walk at a brisk pace. They might even get up to 3.5 miles an hour. And they're sharing trails and paths with vehicles that are doing 38. That's an unsafe circumstance and requires some open-ended thinking relative to what are vehicles, what are multimodal, and what are safe. I'd like to see that more addressed in the plan.
Okay.
And that's a comment. I apologize for that.
Okay.
No more questions.
Okay, Vice Mayor. You probably don't have any questions, do you?
You know, I'm going to actually, very few, but
Kidding you.
I did get lost in the plan, so thank you all very much. One of them is, during your fact gathering, in your outreach, you had an interactive map where they could identify locations in the city and write comments about it. Is there a way that that can continue? So that it's a constant feedback loop of, you live in the city and you have an issue walking, biking, et cetera, you can go to a map and let your city know. You know, it's just a wonderful communication tool in addition to being an outreach tool. I think that is wonderful. And in your research and outreach, when you were talking to pedestrians and bicyclists, or any other type of feedback you were getting from them, was there similarities in their concerns?
I would say the similar concern was concern for e-bikes. As mentioned, pedestrians walking on the trail often mentioned concern for e-bicycles and faster vehicles, which originally were not, intended to be on there. So that is, when we did this plan 5 years ago, that wasn't a trend like it is now. So that's part of the purpose of this is addressing that. So I think safety was the biggest concern between bicyclists, pedestrians. Visibility came up a lot, so more street lighting for pedestrians and bicyclists along the trail and safer crossings. So I would say those were the commonalities between the pedestrians, bicyclists.
Okay. And how did both of them feel about cars?
I don't believe we received any particularly strong feedback regarding vehicles. I think from the pedestrian perspective, there's concern about visibility at intersections and being able to cross safely. For bicyclists, we did receive feedback about where the trail intersects city streets, the lack of vehicles stopping for bicyclists, but also vice versa. So we've heard that from both sides. But I would say the biggest focus on the feedback was regarding e-bicycles.
Okay. And you had mentioned the last 5 years and kind of the onset of e-bikes. And also at that same time is when the county took action on a decision they made 10 years ago to separate or take away the separation on the trail. So they've mixed everybody into one pot, and now we've added e-bikes into that. And because I would say prior to 5 years ago, even with that separation, pedestrians still had an issue with, then it was bikes, you didn't have e-bikes. So pedestrians are going to have an issue with anything that's faster than they are. And I get that. And the reason I ask about the similarities, because I also think that both bikes and pedestrians are on the trail because they're both scared of traffic. And instead of fighting against each other, they could fight with each other and to promote and take action on multimodal transportation. Everybody would win there and create, because the more space you give everybody, less people will be on the trail because they're in the streets and doing whatever. But that's more comments than questions. I really don't have any other questions. I have lots of comments, but thank you very much.
Great. Commissioner Sandbergen.
Same thing. I really don't have questions. I'll wait till my comments. Thank you.
Okay. So, Jennifer, I'll ask you this question. When's the last time we actually created a new bike path on a road? Now, Skinner not included, obviously, but literally went into an existing neighborhood or anything new and put in a bike path?
Do you know, George? I don't know, Mayor.
Not since I've been here.
All right, by 5 years.
And how about sidewalks? Where have we put in new sidewalks? And we see in here a lot of missing connector areas for sidewalks. When's the last time we actually, do we have a targeted plan for filling gaps of sidewalks?
So I think some of that's built into this, but our engineering division actually I know they have a sidewalk inventory, if you will, so I know we've worked with them in the past to at least identify some of those gaps, and we kind of look for funding, or whenever we're doing a street resurfacing or something like that, we'll look and see if there's an opportunity to fill those gaps.
You know when the last time we
But
actually did
I
one?
can't remember the last time that we've actually built sidewalk in the public right of way.
And why do you think that is?
Because we haven't.
No, I mean, I'm baiting you. Part of it is because if you ask in some neighborhoods, like, don't put a sidewalk.
I see what you're
Don't put that bike path in my neighborhood. But I just wonder, just how much have we given up because of some of that feeling versus are we targeting enough so we find the sweet spots where it seems to work and everybody's good and it really is a better,
Great
more
question.
walkable city?
Yeah, great question. And I think where this helps us is, so as you know, our land development code is kind of our regulatory document, and you heard about the design review process. So how do we start embedding some of these policies and strategies into the land development code going forward? And I think we can start to do that. Senate Bill 180, as you heard, is a little bit of a challenge at the moment. But I think, because you're going to see a lot of new strategies in here regarding e-bikes and regarding sidewalk connections, and we need to find a way to bridge that gap between this document and our land development code to actually get that done on the ground through our development review process. And I think that's what we're
But
working.
that's assuming new development. I mean, there's a lot of these connectors that are just because they've never connected,
Yeah.
and it would be the city's initiative that would have to probably connect them.
Yeah, and that's a question I can bring back to our transportation committee too. We've got that group formed that includes the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office, our engineering division, and there's maybe an opportunity to work within that group to identify some higher priority areas, if you will, and maybe put that together and talk about how we attack those.
And I think that the higher priority areas are the safe routes to school
Mhm.
and those types of things. I know
Right,
that there was a
right.
statewide initiative to that end as well.
Okay. No, I just kind of be good to re-energize that focus because,
No, I think it's
nothing's coming. The only one that comes to mind right now is like on Alt 19. It's like you go past Munchies and you come to the creek and, you're in nowhere land. You can't go anywhere. And so then that kind of forces people to walk back, go across the street, go on the trail. I'm just, thinking of, there's, clearly probably some obvious disconnects that maybe wouldn't be too politically charged to try to connect and would be so much safer for our walkability, so.
Yeah, we'll take a harder look at that, Mayor, for sure.
Okay. Yeah, I don't really have any other questions other than that, other than just wanting to make it a living document. And to me, that's sidewalks, that's pedestrian safety crosswalks, that's the safe bike paths, and, the ever-famous and popular expanded golf cart routes, which, it's a two-edged sword because, you can only push safety so far, and you don't want to do anything unsafe to get golf carts places. Okay, so I'm drifting into comments, so I will, I think that's all I've got. So I'm going to open it up for public comment. So if anyone in the audience wishes to come forward and speak on this issue, this would be the time. Come on down, name and address for the record, and 3 minutes. How you doing?
Whoa. My name is Steve Markle, and I've been a resident of Dunedin since 2017. And I live at 460 Highland Avenue. I'm here because I have a passion for biking. And in full disclosure, I just want you to know that passion has led me to become part of the Bicycle Pedestrian Advisory Committee. I am part of First Presbyterian Church's Joyrides, if you're familiar with that at all. And since February, I have I have biked over 2,300 miles on the Pinellas Trail. Some people would say that's crazy, like my wife, and then there are others that doesn't hold a candle to what others do on that trail. So that's my passion. And the thing that has brought me here is this, what do you call it? The multimodal. In that, on page 18, there is a summary of issues that I thought, this hits exactly what I want to address. There's the speeding, the signs, and I just have a couple ideas that I am interested in promoting. I hate signs, speed limit signs, all those kinds of things. So one of my ideas is, don't make them signs, make them art, so that you bring in the community, and we're an artist community, and get them to design some things that are attractive. Another thing is, make a speed zone within the city, because it is a number one along the Pinellas Trail for citizen interaction. But if we had temporary signs that could be put up when there are parades, arts and crafts fairs, that kind of thing, that would be beneficial. Another issue that I run into on a regular basis are the stop signs at intersections with the bike trail and streets, in the fact that there's confusion over the fact that bikes don't stop and cars have to. So that's a couple of the things that I would like to bring forward, and I would love to be part of this group right here. If you can appoint me in some way, I'd appreciate it.
Okay, thank you, Steve. Appreciate the input. Good. I'll let you figure that one out, George, as far as good input and getting Steve's good words. Got some good ideas there, though, so. Okay. Anyone else wish to come forward and speak on this issue? Name and address in 3 minutes.
Lisa Hunt, 252 New York Avenue, apartment 312. I concur with what he said. Where'd he go? Oh, there. Yes, I concur. As someone who has worked downtown at every event with alcohol for the last 2 years, I would say myself and also the deputies that work with us on the trail, as well as anywhere we have it roped off to have a wet area where we try to keep people in, we are constantly having to dodge getting hit. And we have seen strollers with, moms and dads with strollers have to dodge. Even with a Pinellas deputy standing right next to me, Renee Papp.
We just say Deputy Renee.
Deputy Renee, I can't pronounce her last, nobody can pronounce her last name. Anyway, she stood right with me, and we literally, she goes, you know what, just clothesline the next guy that comes by, joking. But it was just because they weren't listening to her. They weren't listening to me, even though I carry a sword and an axe. It was impossible to do anything, and I feared for the lives of the civilians that were walking around us. It's very difficult during every event. I know it's been a lot of years, but I am still a proponent of closing off permanently between Edgewater, or between Strawhands and Pioneer Park and Pioneer Park down to Pisces. I mean, I know we tried to get that done for years. That's the way it's done in Europe, and I tell you, it's called a walk plots, where it's all walked, nothing but walking and getting rid of all those few places people park in front of the businesses. I am still a strong proponent of that. I still believe that it would be helpful for our city to have that. And I think that despite what the businesses say, I think it would bring more people out there, not less. I myself do have an e-scooter. I haven't ridden it in over a year because I'm scared to death. I mean, the speed limit on the trail is 25 miles per hour, whereas the speed limit on Douglas downtown is 15. I mean, so it's just too fast. I mean, anybody going 25 miles an hour, it's just too fast. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lisa. Okay, anyone else wish to come forward and speak on this issue? Okay, seeing no one, we will close public input. I will go to commission comments. I will start with Vice Mayor.
Yay, 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 yay. Thank you, Mayor. I think multimodal plans are the best thing for communities. I think they're wonderful. I think they add to the quality of life. I think they add to economic opportunity. I think they're better for the environment. I think they're better for everybody's health. I'd be hard pressed to have somebody find a negative downside to multimodal transportation. It's great for affordable housing. It's just so many things. Where the city has come since 2010 to today is just outstanding. So thank you to the city manager, thank you to staff, thank you for you guys. It is just wonderful. Skinner Boulevard is our latest testament to the benefits of multimodal transportation and really what it can do to communities. And I think it will show over time, for those that didn't see it, really how Skinner itself was such a division between North Dunedin and our downtown. And just the economic opportunity for people gaining access to our downtown is just wonderful. I love the attention that dreamscaping is giving, and the idea that you can't just build a sidewalk and say, there you go. We have to make these places attractable. We have to make people want to walk on them. You've got to provide the shade. You have to provide the benches. You have to provide the public art. We talk about the flats on Main and the affordable housing we're doing there and the opportunity they have to walk to Winn-Dixie, which is wonderful. But God, it's an ugly walk. It's just, you can't just say, there's your sidewalk, use it. And then when they don't, blame it on them as opposed to the space. So many times we want to blame the person and not the space. It's like, make it attractable, make it, with our hot summers, you got to put some shade trees. One of my concerns for Skinner Boulevard, if you look at it now and I look at shade trees, I'm going, I don't know that landscaping was considered as part of it, but I don't know that shade trees were. And so you're going to find opportunities that have been lost with the way we structured Skinner. And so it won't be as shady as it could. Let me see. Please continue to reach out to the residents, because it does, as the mayor said, this has to be a living document, and we have to treat it like that. Thank you, Mayor, for your recent questions about sidewalks. I was waiting for budget to do that. But it's all those things. I think when you look at, George, I think city staff should look at all the intersections throughout the community. How many of those crosswalks are worn down and tired? And what that tells the bicyclist and the pedestrian is that is car space. I'm entering car space. If we treat crosswalks correctly, they should be telling the driver they are entering pedestrian space, which is a whole different mindset. You have to make the pedestrians feel safe and wanted in our crosswalks, and I don't think we do. And so it's a matter of attracting them. It's a matter of really going to each intersection and looking at sight lines. And you'd be amazed at how many sight lines are obstructed and you don't see, it's not comfortable as a bicyclist or a pedestrian, or even walking the crosswalk. Some of those where you come up and you want to turn right, those cars have to drive through the crosswalk to get a good look left as opposed to. So it really is, look at everything the city is doing when you're out on the public roads from the mindset and through the lens of a pedestrian and a bicyclist. And the view drastically changes. Most of my stuff will come up during budget. And so because a lot of this takes money, right? So, and especially in the budget tightness that we're in now. And so that's very hard. But again, thank you for all your work. Kathy, thank you for the work on this. And it really, really, really is a wonderful document. I just hope that it's not just words. You know, that it really is, it comes from the soul of Dunedin and who we are and what we can do to continue to make this the wonderful community that it is. There's a reason why people come here to ride their bikes and to walk our cities. And that just shows you if you build it, they will come. So if we improve what we're doing now, more people will come. So thank you all very much. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, Commissioner Sandberg, final comments.
You know, when I see this map, I guess it's maybe it's unfair, but I immediately go to the Pinellas Trail because I mean, as recently as last week, I got that phone call. Got to do something about the e-bikes. Got to do something about the safety. Got to do something about stopping at the stop sign. You know, and you know, in that same seat where you are, the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office sat a couple weeks ago. You know, is there a solution? Is there an answer to calm the speed and the danger down there? What do you think, Hannah?
So there's not going to be one magic answer. Yeah. It's a layered approach. It's primarily partnering with Pinellas County Sheriff's Department for enforcement. It's education, which can be done by the Sheriff's Department, but also can be done by the city. So awareness efforts, outreach, education, especially for people who aren't from here and might not know. So it's a partnership between the county and the city and raising awareness. It's not going to solve itself overnight. It's really creating those habits.
You know, last week I had work done in my house, and I'm not big about sitting around staring at contractors. So I spent about an hour sitting in a bench down by Cafe Al Fresco. And I'll tell you, man, it's like a drag strip through there. And that poor bicyclist that's pedaling and really trying to get some exercise, he's got to get the hell out of the way because they don't slow down for him coming up behind him, approaching from the other direction. And there's no hitting their brakes when they got to that intersection by the museum. I mean, they got to be doing 25, 30 miles an hour. And it's not, you know, it's no longer if, it's when, you know, that something's going to happen. One thing that I saw in your report, and I did notice in the time I sat there, was the, and I know this would be on to Pinellas County, is the upgrading of that yellow line down the middle. I mean, there's people on, they're walking 4 wide when there's bikes coming from both ways. And, you know, those electric bikes are quiet. They don't even see it until the guy's on top of them yelling at them. And so as small as that sounds, that really needs to be passed on. Another thing that I've noticed here in town, and we're sort of a victim of our own success, and that is golf carts. Golf carts have morphed into low-speed vehicles. And there is so much confusion out there right now because I live it and I see it. You know, I bought a golf cart and I had it tagged and I did everything I'm supposed to do. So I know that I've really increased where I can go. But right behind me is the guy that's got that cart right off the golf course with no tag, and he's right behind me. You know, and of course right now, this with the roundabout on Skinner, there's a lot of confusion. I sat in this chair and I told that deputy for months, I've been saying, you can cross Skinner at Highland. And then it came back that I might have been wrong. And I don't no questions answered today, but you know, I'm thinking if you can't cross there, I need to really start apologizing to people because I've been doing it and I've been telling them. You know, now you can take your golf cart all the way to Eddie's or even up further, but then there's that stop where you can't. And I heard the other day about somebody who had their golf cart on Dunedin Causeway. And I know I should know the answer, but I don't believe that you can get from where we're sitting to Dunedin Causeway legally on a golf cart because of the speed limit changes. So, you know, I know this is, we could talk for days about golf carts and the trail, but you know, I appreciate you coming up here today, and whatever you can do. I know I can't speak for everybody else, but I would definitely support just to keep it safe. And also notice, and I may be wrong, it sure didn't appear to be locals that were on that trail that day. It was, you know, these kids, I should say kids, I mean, they're young people. And they use that like, those e-bikes are like a motorcycle. And they're, you know, I mean, they're a blur when they go by. And whatever you can do to keep the residents of Dunedin safe and these people that are coming in with these e-bikes and using that trail, I shouldn't focus just on the trail, but that's what I see every day. So thank you, Hannah. Thank you, Mayor.
Commissioner Walker.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I think, you know, a couple of examples. I think for the most part, the program is working, and we do have to periodically update the master plan. And case in point, my wife and I were trying to figure out a way to take bike trails from here to Safety Harbor, and by God, there's a way to do that. And you know, I really do think having that type of amenity is really important for the community in terms of accessibility and in terms of just pure livability. It imparts a whole different optic on the community. The one thing I would say, though, is, and you know, the issues we're facing right now, and I know that the scope of the master plan is really about not only expanding the network, but safety and infrastructure, and that's important. And well, it's the most important part, actually, because where we are at right now is we have bicycles that are traveling up and down the trail that are fully powered. I mean, you don't even, it's not, there's a distinction between, not all e-bikes are created equal. There's the pedal assist, and there's the ones that are pure power. And I really think in terms of how we try to solve that problem, I think there needs to be a classification of what's allowed on the trail and what's not. That's just my opinion. But, and I'll carry, just to kind of carry forward a thought that Commissioner Sandberg said, we are victims of our own success, because we have, Pine Hills Trail is like, it's awesome, you know, and people come from miles around to just drive up and down the trail, and then they stop in Dunedin and they spend money, and it's all good. So just to kind of wrap this up, I think there needs to be some sort of regulation on what constitutes a bicycle and what's allowed on the trail. The other part of it is of course, enforcement. And the challenge that we all have, you know, it's a resource issue, it's a cost issue, is how do we increase the enforcement on the trail? Yeah, that's, to me, two of the most critical items to basically addressing the challenges that we're facing right now. So anyway, but I appreciate the update on this. I think it's important, and the one thing is I did attend that the thing in March on St. Patrick's Day. I thought it was awesome. You need to do more of those, because I love the little bell I got and the new water bottle. So anyway, thank you.
Yeah, we love doing stuff like that. That's where we get our best engagement, especially, you know, when people have a few drinks, they get them talking more, and people love free things too. So
I hadn't been drinking yet, so I just want to make that
saying
perfectly
you
clear.
were, but
That never
He
happens.
says that now, right? He says that now. Commissioner DeGard, final comments?
Thank you, Mayor. The way you used the word final there sounded like you really like me to keep this short.
I just like to remind everybody.
I've got it. I feel like Cassandra standing at the gates of Troy, hollering at Pyram, "Don't let the horse in." And we've let the horse in. The horse is in. It's running up and down the road. It's the e-bike. And it's dangerous. And people are going to get hurt. Personally, My wife won't walk on the trail. She considers it an unsafe area because she would rather walk on the side of a road because she considers that safer. We are going to have casualties unless we find an answer. I don't expect you guys to come up with it. By the way, in the next 4 or 5 years, we'll have VTOLs landing in Dunedin. They're coming. And because everybody likes these new technologies and the efficiencies and opportunities they bring, they're going to be landing aircraft inside Dunedin. I'll guarantee it'll happen. So until we find a way to overcome the inertia that we have on this issue and actually have walk-only areas that make expedient transportation from the southern part of our city to the northern part of our city fruitless, then we will be in trouble. I think I've said enough. Thank you.
Okay, well, I would add, interesting, I never thought e-bikes belonged on the trail, but I also appreciate what my colleague, Vice Mayor, reminded me about how important transportation-wise that is for some people who'd have no other way. So, so I've come to terms with the fact that e-bikes aren't the problem. The problem is we've created the maximum amount of space for transportation in our cities with the roadway. And they rule, they rule, they rule, they rule. And until we get away from the fact that they shouldn't rule, it's going to be what it is. And I think, and that's the problem now. You see it in our surveys. It's when people talk about traffic. Sometimes, when you dug deep into the survey, it was really about the interaction of so many types of vehicles: the golf cart, the bike, the pedestrian, and all these are good ways to do it. But they're colliding in one main place, right? Like, and a lot of the stuff on the trail, the e-bikes, the bikes, and the pedestrians, and the dog walkers and the, stroller walkers are all colliding in one place. And the problem becomes, well, that one place can't be for everything. Otherwise, we are going to have something happen. And, so I don't know the answer, but I do know that we've got the Ford Pinellas grant that, is going to hopefully help us look at that busy section downtown that would actually help special event stuff. Heard that loud and clear about special events. It's interesting. The extra care we may need to be taking during special events to make sure people aren't zooming through there that have no interest in the special event, but they're zooming through our town. As we look to our next penny, I think trying to create more connectivity with these systems to promote more walking and, walkability and biking and things like that are going to be really important. I think that I look at this document of multimodal, but how do we make it the living document? How do we really say, how do we create the connectivity we want to promote what we want, which is walkability, which is bicycling, which are golf carts, and how do we do that safely? I mean, that's the Rubik's Cube, right? That's the tough part. And I think that's a challenge we have to do, and I think it's one of the things that when we look towards that next penny, maybe there's some key places that we can actually do and make it work, and it will help overall. But I guess that's all I have to say about it, but good job. Nicely done. I didn't get what he was talking about. What was it, a light, a bell?
Well, it was a bell and a water bottle.
Well, okay, I guess I missed that, but anyway. Well,
Interactive map, that was also.
okay, yeah, there you go, okay. Anyway, okay, so do you have what you need from us?
Yes, we do.
Okay, so I think we're good. And did I get commission, I asked for public comment, or did I? Ask for public comment? Okay, good. Then you just had one follow-up question.
I got one follow-up question.
Go for it.
How does this plan tie into the Land Development Code, or the Land Development Code tie into this?
Yeah, great question, Vice Mayor. So yeah, that's the idea. So as with any plan, just like our city master plan, we're always looking for ways to bring that policy to regulatory life, if you will, for lack of that was a bad term. But We are always going to continue through both the business plan initiative process, which requires some financing to do some of this stuff, but we're always going to look for opportunities to bridge that gap to bring these policies into that land development code. And I know the mayor made a great point. A lot of times that only falls to, a larger scale development, but there are ways to embed things in there to incentivize people to do these kinds of things. And there are also structures. Now, I've worked in other states, and Florida's a little bit different, but there are methods and ways for especially larger scale developments to require some of these off-site improvements that are consistent with your plans and regulations, but they've got to be embedded into your document. So that's on us. We've got to look for ways to be creative and bring these things to life for you guys to get to this end goal of, I think we talk a lot about the e-bikes today, but a real key piece of this are those streetscape standards. If we can bring those to life through the Land Development Code, then we're going to be starting to create those environments that you talked about, Vice Mayor, where we've got a place that people want to come to and are attracted to and want to spend time in. And I think that's the key. And we need to start looking at 580. And we're doing that through the Land Development Code update right now. So a lot of these things you're talking about now aren't happening in a vacuum. We're updating the Land Development Code. We're thinking about these concepts, and the goal is to bring that back to you and show you how we're bringing these things to life in the regulatory environment. So I hope that answers the question.
Thank you.
It does. Thank you very much. And
And we are moving on. No, we're going to move on because we're down a couple minutes, and we're going to do informational and items. City Manager.
Yes, thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor. And this is looking for support of a memorandum of understanding with Dunedin Commons, and I'm going to roll this over to George right away so you can kind of talk about what it is we're doing here. And this is an informational item. Mind you, we're kind of providing information for you in terms of Dunedin Commons and the memorandum of understanding, and looking for input to that end if
So
necessary.
don't use the word asking.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll be very brief. So this is, so as you probably saw in your backup, there is a development agreement that covers the property over there at Dunedin Commons, which is that area just kind of at Patricia and Beltree's, kind of behind the bowling alley in that particular area, and where Dunedin Commons is actually developed for the most part. If you'll recall, that development agreement included kind of really two pieces. It was the major development, which has been constructed and has been open to the public, and then there was a 4-acre residual piece to the backside of that behind the bowling alley that was contemplated in the original development agreement as a target investment area. So a certain kind of use was supposed to occur back there. And the developer, as part of the development agreement, said they would commit to that and they would market that for that purpose, but if it didn't come to fruition, then they would want to look at that remnant piece for some other type of use. So we've been working with the developer to kind of work through that consideration. They have done their due diligence, tried to market the property, couldn't get that type of use in there, and at this point, we are on the eve of the expiration of the development agreement. It actually expires in December. So this development agreement, or this memorandum of understanding, is basically a response back to the development team that basically says we will continue to work with you on developing that 4-acre remnant piece once this development agreement expires in the middle of December. So inside of the memorandum of understanding, there's really not a whole lot that isn't already offered by the Land Development Code. So most of the language in there I would call, for lack of a better word, is perfunctory. But it does give the development team, I think, a little bit of reassurance that the city will continue to work with them on that remnant piece. And I'll certainly look at the two Jennifers if they have anything to add to that, but happy to answer any questions on it.
Okay, and I know Commissioner Dugard did have a question.
Yes. Now, as I understand it, this is DC wishes to amend the DA by removing the TEC to enable the FX-H zoning for review by DRC, LPA, and DCC?
So
Yes.
So, listen, yes to most. They're actually not asking to amend the development agreement at this point. They want so the development agreement will organically
You
expire.
actually knew what I said.
Yes, I got it. No, you're speaking my language, yeah.
See, the beautiful thing, you could have just said yes.
Right, because I think his point wasn't, yeah.
And I didn't even use SAP once.
That's special ed plan, very good. Very good, Commissioner.
Okay.
That's all I've got.
Anybody else have a question about this? Okay, no questions, so you just needed to let us know, and
Yes.
do I need to ask for public input on this, or?
You don't have to, but the Developers Council is here. It just.
Well, is there
observing
anyone in the
if there's
audience
any
wishes to speak to this issue? You sat here all the time, you might as well at least say hi.
That's what I'm doing. My name is Angela Halber, and we represent the developer from Hillward Henderson, 101 East Kennedy Boulevard, Tampa, Florida, in case I need to say that. But yes, basically, just wanted to put a face with what we're doing here, and thank you for your time and attention.
Okay, thank you, appreciate it. Okay, anyone else wish to come forward and speak on this issue? Okay, seeing no one, okay, so we are so informed.
Thank you.
Okay, and is there anything else that, for the good of the order?
Nothing further, Mayor.
Other than, our liaison, do you want to announce anything about the game tonight?
Well, the beast of the American League East is, I think, going to break the hearts of the New York Yankees.
Yes.
If it's not tonight, it'll be this week. And,
Yeah.
I'm keeping an eye on World Series tickets and plane fares and hotels for the
Good.
commission to go up there and enjoy ourselves, but
Okay.
it seems a little
Don't
out
wanna
of our
jinx.
budget.
You don't want to jinx, well, yeah, everybody be on their own, everybody be on their own dime,
Yeah,
but still.
a watch party. I think we got some good things coming, so.
Right, yeah.
When that team
Yeah,
keeps
so if
winning.
anyone out in the public hears us talk about the World Series, we're going to go. It will be on our own dime, it will not be on the city's.
Or-
But anyway, but we will, anyway.
Very proud of them, and they made a comment how proud they are, to be partners with us, so.
Yeah, yeah.
Things are looking good for us.
Yeah,
Thank
they're
you.
very excited, and the only thing I've learned from them is don't jinx us by, just let things happen, so we'll see.
Yes.
But anyway, yeah, but I'm hoping they'll clinch tonight and make it a real statement, too.
Yes.
Sorry, Yank fans, but a real statement again, so. Okay, anybody else for the good of the order, are we, okay? Meeting adjourned. Oh, yeah, we're going to celebrate Commissioner Sandberg's birthday.